Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly, game master today, because today we are playing the second of our holiday break sessions, playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Paizo's great 2nd edition of their classic fantasy role-playing game. And we are playing a second adventure set in my custom setting of the Spires of Paridar. Now, I mentioned this yesterday at our first session, but for the benefit of those who may have missed that session, or for the folks who are the players who are joining us for the first time in the streets of Paridar, Paridar is, you can think of it as like a sort of the way that Victorian London or Edwardian London is sort of presented in fiction, in particularly in fantasy fiction. So any kind of dark, Gothic story that is set in that type of setting, like I mentioned, Ravenloft is an inspiration for this. Bloodborne is an inspiration for this. Dishonored, the Carnival Row. Eberron to a degree. All of these things sort of make this setting. The city that you're playing in is one of the largest cities, and to the mind of the Paridar populace, the most important city in the world. It has many of the characteristics of sort of Victorian London, but with a distinctly fantasy flair to it as well. Alongside humans, there are rat folk, there are elves, dwarves, orcs, ogres, as well as a bunch of mixed race ancestries as well, and some unique creations as well too, including something such as one of our players for today. The setting is intended to be, it has many of the elements that you would see in a steampunk type setting. So it's going to have advanced technology that is presented in kind of a steam kind of way. Firearms are quite common in the setting as well. But I prefer to think of it as a coal punk setting, because we are much more interested in the lives of the lowly, of the folks at the bottom of kind of the socioeconomic spectrum, as opposed to the shiny, brand new steam devices that the aristocracy and the rich get to enjoy. And the characters that we're playing in this, thanks to our buddy Sean, we have a name for the heroes of these campaigns. These are the Illuminators. They will be either members of or associates with the Shadow Illumination Detective Agency. Our heroes are ones who exist kind of on the fringe, but connected to sort of both the upper and lower class of Paridar or Paridar society. One distinct characteristic about Paridar as well is that while the society has a places deep value on custom and tradition, it has a remarkable ignorance of history. It also has, for the people who are residents of Paridar, while there is an awareness of a wider world, they don't really seem to ever think about going there. There are, in the homes of the wealthy, there are displays of different artifacts recovered from various, foreign nations and brought back. There are faces that look unfamiliar that walk the streets as well too. Many people from many different lands, but no one ever thinks about going there. Surely that must happen, but for whatever reason, no one thinks of going there. Now let's introduce the stars of our session today. And the session today is called The Untimely Undeath of Major Fitzhume. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing. First up is Darren.
Okay, it's Darren. I'm playing Dr. Adam Ersprung, a Frankenstein-type creature. Put together, obviously, as a doctor, and he lives in the poor streets and tries to help as many people as he can that obviously can't afford to get the medicine and help they need.
Mm-hmm. And mechanically, Dr. Adam Ersprung is built as a flesh warp flesh warp inventor. Next up is Ingolf.
Yeah, hi, I'm Ingolf. I'm playing Basil Rathbone, who is an Isoki, also everyone else calls them Ratfolk. So he is quite a clever kind of detective, and his strength is investigating stuff. But also he's a little bit small, and people will not ever not notice him all the time. So he will be a little bit loud-mouthed to cope for that.
Nice. And last but certainly not least is Carl.
Hello, I'm Carl. I am playing Hannibal Tukard, who will be a counterpoint, I think, to Basil Rathbone. He is a Dampier gunslinger who was saved by clockwork, and he's supposed to be played as a wisecracking gunslinger with a tragic past.
Nice. So one of the things that we talked about this before we went live, but well, we'll talk about this, I think, deal with this in game. Let's get to the actual play here. So, guys, our scene opens on the streets of Paridar. Now, what we can see is there are a number of people who are sort of going about their business along, in the streets of Paridar. It is wintertime, so this is before Yule. The traditional, winter solstice kind of holiday, very similar to our Christmas. But we can see there are a mixture of, old nag horses that are dragging carts full of big, casks of milk. There are people going about their business. Some look like they are on their way for, dressed up to go to celebrations. Some are heading back from work at the end of the day. And we also see we then see this big which is not an uncommon sight in the streets of Paridar now, a big kind of clockwork carriage pulls up, and if you picture kind of like a covered wagon but made all out of like hardened brass, that's a good sort of frame of reference. So of course there is no horse driving this horseless carriage. The door opens up in the back, and we see on the side there are markings of the 9th Paridar Medical Corps. And out of the back of the, or out of the side of the horseless carriage, there are two men who come out, one of which is dressed in kind of like laborer's clothes, but fairly clean, likely someone who doesn't work in a warehouse, but someone who just happens to move heavy stuff for rich people. And the other person is a member of the Paridar Constabulary. Now, the Paridar Constabulary member, he walks over to a side. As the expression that this man has on his face suggests that this is the last thing that he probably wants to be doing, and he is not paying a great deal of attention. But the laborer goes into the back, opens the back of the carriage, and then grabs a crate. You see the guy bringing this crate out. We can hear the rattling of something within, and almost as if they came out of nowhere, there is a horde of children that suddenly, urchins, that have run up and are standing around this member of the constabulary. And he's like, "Oh, that's enough, that's enough. Back off, get out of here, you rats. Keep your hands off of that." And because they're all talking to him and begging to him, and they look like they have not seen a washcloth in at least 3 weeks, and they must be freezing in the clothes that they are wearing right now. While this is going on, and with the distraction of the constable, there are two other kids who we can see sneaking around the side of this wagon. And these ones seem less harmless because of the stilettos that they have in their hands. One races over as the laborer reaches into the wagon to grab another of the crates. The kid runs by and slices across the bottom of his leg. The man screams and falls down, blood spewing out across the white snow. And the clatter of the box hitting the ground just brings the attention of this negligent constable. "Hey, what's that?" He looks over, and we can see that what has spilled out of the case is this vicious, like reddish, or vials, I should say, of this vicious reddish brown liquid. They almost seem as if they are vials intended to have a needle put into them to then extract and administer to a patient. The kids race over and start grabbing handfuls of these things. The constable, his knight truncheon out, begins racing over and tries to stop them. From within the mass of, of these kids, we see two hands with stilettos once again come out and stab this constable once or twice. He falls back, a spreading stain across his belly. He manages to draw a pistol, and as the last of the kids grabs what remains of the vials and begins running off, he raises it, and we hear a gunshot. Our scene then cuts to a much more, where am I going here? Humble neighborhood. These are some of the slums of Paridar. And we can see there is a man running along at a full tilt sprint, a package of, or some kind of thing wrapped in cloth and covered in a dirty kind of like, wool blanket. Tears running down his face, and a woman a good half block behind him, seemingly left behind as he's racing along. He races through these streets, knocking over people. We see there are, still snow in the streets here, but this is a place where they are making much more effective use of the space. There are street carts, there are stalls on the ground. There are people with like open, standing around a open coal burning kind of heater, trying to stave off the cold while passing a bottle of spirits back and forth to each other. He knocks over one of these things. Coals, are strewn out into the snow-filled street. He then races down, and we see him turn into a building that looks like it probably once was a shop, just from the big windows in it. But what has been first white-coated over and then printed across is a crude sign that says infirmary. And we see this man now burst into this room, and if you can picture a Victorian kind of sales room that has been given over, complete with still the sort of like dressing dummies, pushed in the corner. There are a bunch of poor and ill people who are sitting in this kind of waiting room. And we hear this man cry out, "Doctor! Where's the doctor?" And a woman comes running up to him, dressed in kind of like the big, Victorian era surgical scrubs, or not surgical, the nurse's uniform. And she's like, this way, hurry. And we then see the door burst open to the back, which would likely have been at some point the manager's office, but it has been converted over. And in here, we see, meeting with a young child, two figures. One is a large and somewhat hunched brass man. The other, Darren, why don't you tell us what this other person looks like?
Well, you can see the picture there. I feel that he's got an intimidating size about him. Broad shoulders, this square-looking head, which makes him unmistakable walking the streets or whenever anyone sees him. He's always got a serious expression on his face, but he speaks quite gently, quite kindly to anyone that comes in, and he's trying to help. He'll do anything he can. So within seconds, he always puts people at ease, even though he's quite intimidating to the look. Okay. So as soon as so the young child there is probably about maybe about like 7. So he kind of startles as the doors burst open. You look and see this man, who clearly is a working class man, has something bundled up that looks, it has the form of a child in his hands. Tears stain his soot-filled or soot-covered face, and he says, "Please, doctor, you've got to help him." Okay, and with that, I will just put my arm across the desk, clear everything off of it in one go, and just gesture for him to present the child onto the table.
He gingerly puts it down as if he was laying a child in a bassinet, and then pulls back the woolen blanket. And it is good that you have a, not only a poker face, but poker faces, being that you are made of many beings. What you see is probably a child of about maybe about the same age as the child sitting on the examination table. He is about 7 years old, but he has been burned horrifically from almost head to toe. And curiously, his clothes. Why don't you give us? Let's get some dice rolling here. You can give us either a medicine or perception check, whichever you prefer.
Let's go for medicine.
The difficulty class in this is quite low as well. Where's my DM screen? Oh, so critical success. So here's something that is bizarre, is that the burning that has happened here, it's almost exclusively to his skin. There's a little bit of discoloration on the clothing, but it is almost exclusively on their skin. And the boy does not seem to be, I'll let you roll forward with that medicine roll. He is not breathing.
Okay. I'll calmly say, "Nurse, please take Timmy to the waiting room." And, try and get rid of the child that's already in the room.
The nurse, she grabs the boy. "Get this way, son, this way."
And sir, please, can you wait outside? And I'll sort of gesture for the father.
Sure. Why don't you give us a diplomacy check? This is a distraught father. Let's see if he...
Yeah.
It's exactly as you say, like your voice hits the perfect timbre to... He sort of, the tension he was holding in his shoulder sort of slumps, and he says, "Please, doctor, please, he's all we got." And closes the door behind him, and leaving you with this child, and Igor stalks over. Now, Igor is equipped with 2 different sets of tools. One is your engineering tools, and one is your medicine tools.
Okay.
So anything you need to administer medicine, Igor has.
So I will do like an instant assessment. Is there something like blocking his pathways that's stopping him from breathing, or is it literally seems that his heart has stopped? And so I just really quickly try and assess it.
So looking over this, the body, the child, you're checking and whatnot, checking the front. As you roll over onto the back, what you can see is, while there is a little bit of discoloration from the burning, the thing that really draws your attention is the large blood stain and hole in his back. There is a bullet wound in this back.
Okay. So, the first thing, I need to get him breathing, stabilize him as best as possible. Can I use Igor? Has he got any sort of mechanical things that I could use as some sort of defibrillator?
What is Igor trained in? Let's see here. Igor's trained in acrobatics and athletics. He's good at lifting. Igor, you're useless.
Okay.
He does, however, have all the, as he opens up, all your surgical tools are there. What you could try is, I guess, what I'll do is I'll give you a +2 on your medicine check, but this boy is quite badly injured, so it will be a challenging thing to try and stabilize him. So go ahead and give us a medicine check. We'll add +2 to the result. Let's see. So there's something that dawns on you. You keep trying to administer some things, and the burns that are on the body just they keep staying. It doesn't look like you've seen burns from exposure to hot metal. You've seen burns from coal dust being spread on someone. You've seen electrical fires. This is something very, very unique that you have only seen with a growing scourge. I mentioned before I went live the presence of the vampiric serum. serum that has been used by... First, it was used to reanimate dead soldiers who would respond to the treatments as dampiers. But now it's been used by an ever-increasing number of the poor as a way of treating their all illnesses by transforming themselves. One of the consequences of that, and one of the reasons why the Church of the Holy Host feel that basically damns the person, is because when they are transformed by that virus, or by the serum, not a virus, their bodies respond to the radiant power of the divine like other undead do. It scours and burns them. So it seems as if someone tried to heal this child with divine power and did not realize what they were doing. Fortunately, you sort of realize that this kid must be a dampier. He's been affected by the virus, or the serum, and you adjust your treatment accordingly. It is a very, touch and go matter of maybe about an hour or two of treatment when finally you leave. The child is stabilized but unconscious. And as you walk out into the waiting room, what you see, not only do you see the father, or the man who broke through the door initially, standing with his mother. Somewhat unusually, there is a priest of the Church of the Holy Host who is standing a little ways off from them, and he is far too well dressed to be part of your normal clientele. What do you do next, Doctor?
Is there any obvious ways from my medicine and my living in the sort of lower classes of identifying these people that have had the serum? Is there any telltale signs?
Yeah, it's with a cursory examination, you would be able to tell, as long as the people let you do it, you would be able to tell whether they have been transformed into dampiers or whether they are human.
And would I be able to do a sort of an assessment of the father and the mother as
Absolutely.
I walk over and talk to them? Shaking hands and...
Yeah, in the way that, and this is a pre-pandemic thing, but the way that people are often deferential to doctors, that is the way that you are. They are to you, too. If you say, if I may, you do a quick search of the eyes, you check the gums, you check their pulse, both fully human, not affected by the serum.
Okay. And may I have a word? And I gesture to both of them in the other room.
You don't. I think what as you are about to go, the priest steps forward and says, "I'm sorry, Doctor. Is the boy okay?"
He's stable for now, but he's in a bad way.
He looks over as if seeking forgiveness, from the parents, and the mother just seems distraught, but the father seems furious with the priest, but not willing to say or do anything. You escort the parents into the waiting room, and you have an opportunity to speak to them. What do you say?
Yeah, so I'm trying to ascertain the history, his medical history. So, may I ask you, has your son befallen any illnesses, or what made you go to this religious man, or this holy man?
What comes out after talking to them is that their son's name, incidentally, is Tom. Tom Boyd. And the father is Isaac, and the mother is Emma. Tom Boyd, like a lot of kids, mom and dad both are factory workers, and Tom has sort of been running wild. Tom's their only child. They've got no one else to sort of watch for him when he's at home. So he goes off and gets up to whatever he gets up to with kids. They had noticed recently a change in him, but they took it to be because he was just getting older and acting out. One of his friends, a childhood friend named Edward, brought Tom back saying that Tom had been shot. And there is a priest who provides services, not only literally like religious services for the Church of the Holy Host to the members of the things. He also provides what little magical assistance he can to the working class that are here. And given the life-threatening injuries that he seemed to have suffered, Tom wasn't breathing and was beginning to grow quite pale. They brought him to the father, who hurriedly called upon his God's power, and then it's as if he became a blazing torch. And the sound, the mother is just barely holding together, having remembered the sound of her son as he screamed and burned and then suddenly fell silent. What comes out is, as well, is that, building on your good diplomacy check, Isaac didn't bring them to you because they didn't trust you. They thought you were...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'll just blank that. I'll just overlook that at this point. I'll discount that, as even though I've took it on board. So I'll put a hand on sort of both their shoulders, and I'll say, I believe Tom will make it. He will pull through. He's a strong boy. But I have bad news for you. He has become the victim of this terrible serum this vampiric serum that's going around.
The mother snaps, like, no!
And please do not blame the father, as he would not have been aware of this, and he's done his utmost.
Isaac says, Who could have done this? Who done this to him?
Well, that unfortunately I do not know, but I will do my utmost to find out where this new source of this is coming from. It is a plague to me. It's causing me so much trouble over the coming days. I'm sure there's potentially a new source of this stuff.
That match, whoever it is, doing that to kids, my Tom, he should be strung up, he should.
I assure you, I will do my best to hunt down the people that are responsible for such a horrible crime. But in the meantime, I will make sure that he makes a recovery.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
But please do not blame the father out there.
After calming them down, they say they want to spend a little time with Tom, if it's okay, before they go. They don't want to take up your limited space, but if they could spend some time with him.
Yeah, we'll arrange something, and
So you maybe leave him in the room.
Somewhere.
You step outside, and what you can see is, standing right at the threshold to the hallway, is a very, uncomfortable-looking priest.
Yep, I shall approach him and try and have a word with him.
He says, Doctor, thank you. I would never have wanted any ill to befall young Tom, but you must understand, I did not want that. I did not intend. He seems.
Again, I'll try the reassuring hand on the shoulder, which is his sort of telltale, his way of calming people down, as sort of strong, confident
Yeah.
grasp on the shoulder.
So he, and I mean, you loom over him as well, too. So he stops and says, "This is not the first. Not the... I should have known. We've seen this with some other children, too. Children who have gone missing and then come back. There's so many wayward children in this neighborhood. And those who would prey on them. Some even sell their children off. But what monster would wish to change the children? Why use that serum on them?" And you can see there's a little bit of a gossiping that's happening, like the in the waiting room between the people who are in there when he says this.
Yeah. So I'll ask him, have you got any ideas where Tom used to hang out, or who would be in contact with him? Who could have done such a deed? I need something to go on. We need to get to the bottom of this, or else we're going to see this more and more.
He shakes his head, and from the way, now that you're closer up to him, you can see that the way he is dressed, he's not only dressed like a typical priest of the Holy Host, or priest of the Church of the Holy Host. He is also, he has like a ring that suggests membership in some kind of secret society. He has soft hands. He strikes you as someone who has entered taken up the cloth, as it were, coming from means. But he says these people are, this flock is new to me, and alas, I do not know them as well as I would hope. But do you know anyone? If you know anyone who can assist with this, I've heard of these detectives. There is the Paridar Detective Agency as well. And the Paridar Detective Agency is, if you can think of like a more sinister combination of the Pinkertons and Blackwater, that's sort of what they are. Not for nothing, that's actually founded and run by Sean's character's father. So the founder of the detective agency that Basil and Hannibal associate themselves with, the Shadow Illuminations, that is actually kind of a rival organization to this monolithic one. It doesn't surprise you that he'd be thinking of them first, but Dr. Earthspring, you actually know. You've had Basil Rathbone, a Ratfolk, or Yasaki as he prefers, a detective who helped you with something recently.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know a man that may be able to help, or...
If I will be happy to cover any expenses or fees associated with that. And not the church, myself. Please,
yes,
do you think you could arrange such a thing?
I can certainly arrange a meeting. Is it something you would like to be a part of? Such a meeting?
If you would permit, I would be happy to, though I will happily take direction from those who know such matters better.
Well, I know of someone who may be able to help from the agency. I will go and speak to Basil as soon as my work is finished here today.
So this is where in the film version of our campaign we would transition out with some music and we would cut over.
And the last thing I will do is I'll make sure that I point out to him the telltale signs of the serum so this doesn't happen again.
Oh, awesome.
I will make sure, look at the eyes and that before
everybody
doing
gets a
any
hero
treatment.
point for that. So go ahead and add another hero point. To the green bar, incidentally, your red bar is your hit points, green bar is your hero points, and it should update your character sheet directly.
Oh, okay.
Perfect. Okay. So, our scene now cuts. I'm going to switch out Muzak here for this here. Okay. Here we are. So what we see in these snow-filled streets, there is in one of the ground floor of one of those buildings you see on the left there is a finely stenciled sign on the interior pane of this building, Shadow Illuminations. And within, we can see that there is a small office where there are two figures who are waiting. Now, one of them, this is his office. This is his study or his office or whatnot. And Ingolf, why don't you tell us what we see when we first see Basil?
So you see that he's crouched over a book, trying to study very close with a pencil. And if you look even closer, it's really a sheet full of numbers, which don't have any sense, perhaps only to him. And he's doing some statistics, because he's very sure that there's data to be gathered, and one can learn something about it. But
okay,
yeah, and he wears some mantle with a lot of pockets, and he has all kinds of small tools and so on. So just in order to be ready for an investigation if it occurs.
Okay. And the other man in here, maybe pacing, maybe sitting down, is Hannibal. Carl, what do we see when we first see Hannibal?
I was muted, of course. So Hannibal, I guess he would be pacing, alternatively be pacing, and then probably leaning up against in a dark corner. Yeah, I mean, have we heard about these incidences that we've seen on the show yet? Or?
What? No, you are waiting for a meeting.
Waiting for.
Yeah.
Oh, this meeting. Do we know that a priest is coming?
I think that you can assume you know that a priest is coming, and that your expertise has been called in, for one, because you are, I see you as sort of the muscle to Basil's mind, you know. Not that your character's not quite clever and a capable investigator himself, but in addition, there was mention, Dr. Ursprung mentioned that the dampiric virus, or dampiric serum, being applied to children, I imagine that hit a bit of a mark with you.
Yeah, because I understand when you're a dying soldier and you get injected with this life-saving drug, but to children, I don't know, Basil. Very concerning indeed.
So maybe you can hear the sound of sort of the wheeze of the clockwork gears in his hand as he's sort of like flexing and unflexing, waiting for them to arrive. Now, Dr. Ursprung, how do you think you're not a criminal by any means necessarily, but your appearance definitely would draw attention. Does Dr. Ursprung care about that, or does he sort of conceal himself when he is out in public?
I like to think that he's well known and almost respected by the people that he cares about.
Yep.
He's probably seen as a bit of a threat by the law and enforcement, and he's quite a big, dangerous-looking guy. But anyone that he cares about, which is anyone below sort of living class or the lower classes, knows who he is, and he's a bit of a folk hero almost.
Yep.
So he doesn't try and hide or worry about anything like that.
So he, as there's sort of gasps and whatnot as we see, as he's making his way down the street with the priest has introduced himself. It is Father Tilcott.
So we'll make our way in.
So you make your way in, and again, we see this priest wrapped up in sort of a winter cloak and whatnot. I'm assuming, unless you tell us otherwise, that Igor is sort of always with you.
He'll always be one step behind me, literally.
So this man and this, clockwork man make their way up. You can see the familiar sign of Shadow Illuminations, and you make your way in. Basil and Hannibal, you hear a knock at the door, and it is the manservant, that Golag, the one who financed this whole setup, his manservant. Master Basil, Dr. Earthsprung and guest are here for you.
Yeah, so, very good. Let them in, please.
Of course. The door opens, and we see Dr. Earthsprung. The way your manners have been presented thus far, am I correct in thinking that you let the father get in first?
Yeah, he's very generous, and he's always polite. And
so he walks in, and then we see Dr. Earthsprung, who fills sort of the door frame as he makes his way in. And then the tea is brought in for you all. And then when the manservant leaves you, you are free to discuss. You received, I think, some written correspondence, Basil, from Dr. Earthsprung, but you haven't discussed what happened in particular yet.
Yeah. So I guess we have already introduced each other and so on. So then please tell me what happened. So just again in your words, I know you have written it down already, but just in order so we don't miss anything.
I wish I was here on a more pleasant, occasion, but it has come to my attention through the unfortunate affliction of this child was brought to my small infirmary with these burns and injuries from the father's. He's healing. He tried to heal this small child from a gunshot wound, but because this child had already been infected with this terrible vampiric serum that curses our city, he was nearly killed in this situation. But we must put a stop to this. The injections of this serum onto children is ungodlike, and it's a surge on the city, like I say, and it's becoming more and more prevalent and prevalent.
Everyone, give us a society check, please. We just heard you mention the gunshot. Let's see if that rings a bell with anyone.
Okay.
So Dr. Earthsprung and Hannibal. Now, I guess first, Basil, you can choose to spend a hero point and re-roll that if you like, or...
Yeah, come on. Yeah, let's do this.
Nice. Okay.
It's even worse.
Basil, you've been too busy with your numbers.
No.
Both Hannibal and Dr. Earthsprung, you heard about a violent encounter with a bunch of kids. There was a laborer who works for the Paridar military and a constable, both of which were horribly maimed in a daylight attack by a bunch of kids. They say that they shot someone. Dr. Earthsprung, you read about this in one of the broadsheets. I'm not sure whether you chose to discuss that with the parents or not. I'll leave it to you to decide. But Hannibal, you maybe are the one who were like, wait, that was that robbery from yesterday.
Right.
And Dr. Earthsprung, you're like, precisely. Basil, it's the first we've heard about a robbery. What?
Yeah, look at a group of kids, maybe. That's what the reports were, seemingly. They robbed a 9th Paridar Medical Corps horseless carriage.
I think with a critical to Adam, what you can tell is that you sort of read between the lines of what was going there. The newspapers obviously were not they were not specific about what was taken from it, but you know the 9th Paridar Military Corps is also known as the 9th Paridar Medical Research Corps during the war.
So they could have stolen serum then.
Is it known who actually invented the serum and actually produces it and manufactures it?
It is, yeah. It was a collaboration between the military, the Paridar Military Corps, Medical Corps, and scholars from the Collingwood University.
Okay.
In particular, the College of Necromancy.
So, Doctor, please, I have 2 questions. The first question is, so the virus was already in the child when it was shot?
I would say that was the case, yes.
Yeah. And the other question is, would the child be alive if it hadn't been exposed to the virus?
Quite possibly. Yeah, the virus, this is just so what you would know, Dr. Ersprung, is that the virus can reanimate, but it does not necessarily cause you to, it doesn't like regenerate you.
So my question was more like, so this was a bullet wound, so maybe the child would be dead if it weren't already dead?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're asking. Dr. Ersprung, what you know from your examination is that the tissue damage was such that this kid was shot while he was already infected.
Yeah, this is a recent wound. I would say it was definitely after the serum was within the child. So someone has got these children working for him potentially.
Someone is maybe restocking his supplies.
Hannibal, would you kindly give us a vampire lore check, please? That reminds you of something. Good enough. There is someone you've heard, well, you've met them before, too. Another corpseman, a former veteran. His name is Clovis Potter, but he is better known as the Ghoul Father. Clovis Potter is kind of a Fagin-like crime figure. He's made himself children who have been afflicted with the virus, or with the serum, I should say, who have nowhere else to go. He takes them in and makes use of them professionally. You're at least familiar with him, so if you tracked him down, what you can tell, this is very extreme for Clovis. You've not known him. While
he might have like a group of urchins, he's not making vampires out of them. Is that what you're saying?
You know that he's taken them in, but he doesn't.
Or dampiers.
Yeah, he doesn't infect kids. Like, he's a shitty fucking person. He definitely takes advantage of these kids, and he has a child gang running, but he's not so shitty as to infect them with it. At least, not that you've known thus far. Perhaps if you followed up with him or asked around, you might know more.
Yeah, well, I mentioned that. I say it sounds kind of like something the Ghoul Father would do. You know, Potter, Clovis Potter, Basil, but I've not heard him infecting children.
Basil, you can make an underworld lore check if you like to see if you know anything further about Clovis. And Darren, have you got any, or Dr. Ersprung, if you've got any other, look at that.
Yeah, I've got the same one, but I think Basil's.
So, Basil, you know, that's so close to a critical success. Oh, but hold on. Basil, didn't you just tell us that you made use of your investigator ability to...
Yeah, that was my intention, actually, yeah. So
precisely, which means you get a +1 because it is the focus of your investigation, and you can use a reaction to give +1 to other people's investigation, which pushes that to a 25, which is a critical success.
Yes.
You've dealt with Clovis Potter before, and again, the Ghoul Father is a terrible fucking person who exploits children. But he is not... He doesn't reach the threshold of shitty. There are plenty of shitty people in the streets of Paridar. He doesn't reach the level... In a bizarre way, he seems to think that he is caring for these kids. But maybe things have changed. That would be very unusual for you, though he may have some insight into if someone else is trying the same racket.
Yeah. Hannibal, I wonder if he really does. It's not his style, but maybe he knows something. We should.
Yeah, it's worth talking. We're talking to him.
Yeah, but I would say Father Talbot, or what he was called, Talbot.
Yes,
Tilcott. Yeah,
Mr. Rathbone.
Yes. Could you have you heard anything about this? I think you were telling that there were other children like this?
There have been, yes, children who their parents have. There was one. It was Samuel. Samuel Mills. He. The parents said that he had come home and was cold, and he then ran off again. But they were certain that he had been afflicted with that. And they had, and he gestures to Dr. Ursprung, they had taken Dr. Ursprung's advice and sought his services rather than pursue the folly of injecting their child with such treatments. So we know that at least one, though, perhaps if... Well, this, and he sort of holds the paper forward, and it's someone who's writing the story about this attack, and he says, perhaps she may know something. And the byline for the article is by someone named Annabelle Carrington.
Okay.
Now, why don't you guys give us a society check again, please? See if anybody knows this person. If you have something else that you think might be appropriate for... All right, I'm telling them, Anna. My goodness. Nope. Yeah. None of you have found her, know her yet, but that doesn't mean that you cannot try and track her down.
There's too little numbers in her articles. I don't know.
Yeah. So Annabelle Carrington. There are also two other people that I will let you guys know that you may know. Basil.
Yes.
You happen to have a working relationship with a captain at the constabulary.
Yeah.
That is Captain Odie Withers.
Odie Withers. Okay.
That's what Captain Withers looks like. And you, Dr. Ursprung, you're one of the... obviously a clinic like yours would not function if you had to only draw on the resources of the of what you could, what the neighborhood can offer. You fortunately have a benefactor among the society elites, another doctor, a physician named Dr. Abraham Raycroft. And this is Dr. Raycroft. I think you may have constructed his arm for him.
Okay.
So, Father Tilcott says forgive me, Master Rathbone. This is the first I've had to give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna go close the blinds. She's losing her mind. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? It's like minus 37 here today. So, like, who the fuck is outside that she's barking at? And it says hi as well. So then, what Father Tilcott says is perhaps the remuneration for your tasks such as this is 150 gold crowns. An appropriate fee, or... And to give you guys context, 175 is about what you would get for an entire first level. If you wish to negotiate, you likely can, but...
It seems fine to me.
Good. Then, if there's any assistance I can offer, please do not hesitate to ask. And if you could, I would appreciate the hearing how your investigation progresses. And of course, and he turns to Dr. Ursprung, to how Tom Boyd recovers as well.
Before you leave, Father, the other boy you mentioned, Edward, would he be any help? Would you know his whereabouts?
Alas, Edward, like so many of the children in the neighborhood, have gone. You could speak to his parents, but I fear that would that they knew where Edward was, then they would find him and bring him back themselves.
Okay, very well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you all. And with that, Father Tilcott gets up and leaves. So, what are you guys thinking?
Yeah, I think we should go on.
Hannibal is willing to look into the Ghoulfather angle. He will probably be less ill received than you all.
Yeah, okay. I think we should talk to the reporter as well. She will have contacted and collected a little bit of information around this robbery. So she might know something we don't know.
And maybe if we can talk with your contact at the constabulary, maybe we can talk to the men on the ground who were in the incident.
Yeah, and so also maybe Dr. Ursprung, you might want to talk, or we might want to talk to the parents
Abraham.
of the other child.
Well, I've briefly spoken to Tom's parents. Obviously, they seem to have little knowledge of what's happened to him.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe they have a sibling. So many times the parents don't know anything, but their brothers and sisters know something that the parents won't.
Yeah, I mean, is Tom in a state where I can speak to him directly, the child?
Tom is unfortunately
Is he still out?
recovering. Yeah, it was a very, very close thing.
Yeah.
Like if it's, he's lucky that the prayer that was or the divine energy that was infused into him didn't just burn him from inside out.
Yep. So maybe this other doctor, Abraham Raycroft, he may have some more sort of, unfortunately, victims almost that may have succumbed to this, or may be able to give some other leads. So he may be also worth talking to. But you guys, you're the investigators.
Dr. Ursprung, what is your, I forget, what are your lores again?
Underworld.
Underworld, okay.
Yes.
Why don't you give us a medicine check, please? Nat 20. Curious. Oh, Ingolf, did we lose you?
Yes, no problem. I already
there we are.
reconnected.
Okay. You know what occurs to you? Because then when you thought of Dr. Raycroft, wasn't Raycroft was involved with the development of the serum? Or at the very least, he was certainly part of the 9th Paridar Medical Research Corps during the war.
Right. So he's definitely got some good insights potentially. So maybe you gentlemen could, escort me to speak to him.
Carl and Darren, would you mind refreshing? Just hit reconnect on your thing. I just hit that myself, and there we go. We got everyone back. Sorry, Darren, you were saying?
I was just saying maybe you could escort me to speak to the doctor, Abraham Raycroft, because I believe that he may have been involved in the initial creation of this serum, and may be able to give you some clues. You would probably be better at questioning him than myself.
Yes, and I think we should. So people were shot already here, so we shouldn't go anywhere alone. We should not split up. It's definitely dangerous out here.
Well, according to the article, the policeman shot a robber.
Yeah, but so if you, I guess I have read the article in the minute you have shown it to me. So, but according to that, the children were attacking and so they were already basically slashing the other people. So I don't know. It seems to be dangerous, and they use children as weapons. So.
So where are we going first?
Yeah, maybe
it's a question. Visit the good doctor.
I just look to you two, puzzled face.
Yeah, I would say let's start with the reporter and build from the ground up, and not trying to knock the higher ups first. So if we have some information, we can then have a little leverage in talking to them.
Okay. So let's do this. We're going to have, are you just going to go to the paper itself, the Paridar Globe, or?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Okay.
What time of the day is it, or does it?
It is probably, I mean, we're not going to be tracking time as closely as, like, what's important more is just the transition between the scenes, I suppose.
Right.
Than it is tracking, like, how many hours in a day it is. There's not a ticking clock in this particular adventure, at least not that you're aware of. I mean, there's that bomb that I've placed, but I mean, apart from that, you know. On Ingolf, I've lost you once again. Have you maybe hit reconnect on your...
Yes, I reconnect, yeah. I can't see you moving anymore as well.
Yeah, you were frozen for a bit, and then I've got a butterfly. It's probably when you're probably meeting earlier in the day initially, and so this would have been the day after that Dr. Ersprung performed that emergency surgery. If you want to go to the Globe directly, that's
probably the best.
Okay,
let's go there.
So I think there's I'm gonna have a flat check. I think there's only a small chance of her. She is an investigative reporter, so there's a small chance of her being in there. But why don't you give us a D20 roll? Whoever is feeling lucky.
Oh gosh, I'm not.
Now, you meet up at the Globe and you ask to meet with her. She is apparently out and meeting with others.
Do they know what story she's working on?
She, until it sees print, the impression you get is that it is sort of kept close to the chest. Ms. Carrington is quite willful in that sense.
We could leave her your card, Basil.
Yes, that's what. Yeah. So I would leave a card actually.
What you could also do is just mechanically, guys, is you could choose to try and gather information. You could try and ask it around, and if you've got a particular lore that you think might help, then you may be able to track down where she may be. You ask around, and you may be able to meet her elsewhere on the streets. You could also try and there are other ways, remember, that you can gather information in this too. You can make use of one of your skills to try and recall lore, like the dice rolls will be the thing that tells us how much your characters know about the background and whatnot, or what can be obtained that way. You also can call on existing contacts to try and gather information from them, or you can just ask around on the streets and try and gather information.
So just for the record, I can name two things I investigate. So as an investigator class, you have two cases you can work on basically.
Yep.
So I would name one of the cases. I would name I don't know, the vampire virus or the virus and the children or something like that. And,
so it has to be sort of narrow because you can reset it each day.
Yes,
as soon as so it kind of has to be a focus on like a person or an idea. Like if it's the vampiric virus, then anything, or the vampiric serum, anything relating to that would be gaining the bonus.
Okay, so then let's make it both of those. So One is the vampiric serum, and the other one is this gang of children, whatever they are up to. So.
Okay. So then what Basil also can do is, as a reaction, grant a +1 bonus to you guys. He gets a +1 to his skill rolls with that, and if Basil happens to be in the scene, he can also help you guys with your rolls. So we are in, mechanically speaking, we're in the exploration mode right now, as opposed to the downtime mode, or the where days will pass or weeks will pass, or the encounter mode where we're going round per round for combat. What do you guys want to be doing with your round in the encounter mode? You can go and meet up with a contact. You can try and gather information. Recall lore is going to be free unless you want to access like a secondary source to try and increase your chances. So, like, for instance, if you happen to be good at history through society, you know, and you want to improve your chances, you rolling a recall knowledge on your own will have a certain difficulty class, but if you access a library or, you know, newspaper archives, that'll decrease the difficulty class.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
So I would then just contact the captain with us and hope that he can tell me something about this children gangs.
Okay. So you're going to meet up with Captain Withers, or Hannibal and Darren. Hannibal, do you want to... Or Darren, because you haven't changed your name. I'm going to keep calling you by your display name.
You change it.
Go to the cog on the far right. Yeah. I read that John the other night, too, where John kept appearing in the game as opposed to his character. Hannibal, what do you wish to do with...
I think, I don't know, maybe he has a hunch that... maybe this Annabelle person is going after the same information we might be, so he's going to maybe use vampire lore to see what he would know, or the hangouts to find out about vampire stuff that would be, and try to track her down.
Your vampire lore, I would also apply to corpsemen, to the veterans who are afflicted with that, so that definitely would apply. And then how about Dr. Earthsprung? What would you like to do?
I mean, do you think it's worth splitting up at this stage, or
I think we're in exploration mode. So we aren't together in a way. So we are just, each person is doing a role basically.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm keen to speak to the Abraham Raycroft, the doctor, and speak to him doctor to doctor, and see if I can get some information.
Sure. So let's start with, because this one is contingent on a dice roll. Hannibal, why don't you give us your vampire lore check, please?
Yeah.
Oh, and everyone gets a hero point too.
Dang it.
Speaking of hero points,
which I'm going to re-roll using hero points.
You got it. There you go. All right, so you hear that she has been asking around there is sort of like a legion, you know, where veterans and whatnot will be hanging out. Both those, although I think that they probably keep a separate one. It is informal, but you can picture that there are different like Legion halls in different neighborhoods in Paridar, but the corpsemen sort of, they go to one, and then the rest of the veterans go to another one, because they're just, for whatever reason, they're just not welcome there anymore. You speak to someone like a fellow corpseman who directs you sort of like that she's been asking around at that Legion Hall. So if you want to meet up with her, you can definitely find her there.
Well, I'll definitely head out. How do we figure out how we reconnect?
Like with each other, you mean?
Yeah.
Do you guys? You could meet back up at Shadow Illuminations at the office.
Yeah. Meet back up at the office.
Yeah.
Shadow Illuminations.
Or it could be like, you guys could make an arrangement for a late lunch, have tea. Late afternoon tea is not is definitely a thing in Paridar as well. Or a pint, depending on your inclination. Let's see here. So Hannibal, we will cut to. Let's see here. The Legion Hall. I'm going to use this one again. Here we go. So, as you, let's see here. Why don't you give us a D20 roll, Hannibal? Let's see if you get here before her or after her, or whether she's here at the same time.
7.
Okay. So you actually arrive and you find that I think because of you being a Dhampir, you likely have a feel for, the sallow skin and whatnot. You can picture, you can easily kind of spot one of your own. And talking to a trio of other corpsemen in a corner at one of the round tables is this young woman.
Okay.
And do you think that Hannibal frequents this legion as well?
I think he would. I mean, he definitely clings to his veteran status. That's why he has a clockwork arm. That's why he's a Dhampir.
Yeah.
I mean, these people, I guess, fought and died with him and are been brought back to fight again, I guess.
Yeah.
There's definitely a connection.
Okay. So you walk in,
I would say he comes here often.
Then the bartender behind the thing, he has a clockwork arm, but his is much more. Actually, maybe he's got two. One of them seems to act up at times. So you walk in and he's like, oh, and he tries to wave high, and his arm kind of gets stuck for a moment.
Let me help you with that, mate.
Oh, thanks, Hannibal. What brings you around here?
I'm looking for somebody. We're on an investigation, of course, Basil and I.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's
what, that rat fella?
Yeah. Maybe I brought Basil here a couple times.
Basil's a veteran as well.
Oh, yeah, Basil. Yes, he fought in whatever wars here.
He's a good egg, that one.
Yeah. Anyway, we were following up on this article, and I think, and I point over to Miss Carrington. I think that is the author.
You are right, sir. She's been asking around about lots of stuff. Seeing whether... she's been asking about... You tell me. And he calls out and he says, Miss Carrington. And she looks over and she says, please, come here. Would you show him what you've shown me? And she gets up and walks over. And as she gets a little closer, she says, Miss Carrington, this is Hannibal Ducard.
He bows. Do they do the hand kissy thing in this society?
In upper class, sort of, she if you try and sort of do that, she says, "Oh, there's no need for that."
Right.
Thank you,
very well, madam.
No, she said, what do you think the bartender's name is?
Gruff. I like the name Gruff.
Gruff?
Probably a nickname, but call him Gruff.
So he says...
Maybe it's Mugruff.
McGruff? Yeah, sure. Okay. So he says this, Hannibal served as well, too. Could you show him what you show me? And she goes into her notes. She says, the marking, you mean? And he says, yeah, that's the one. And she flips open her little notebook and holds it up to you. And what you can see is she's drawn in this kind of, it looks like the silhouette of a bird of prey. But there's one strange thing about it. There are, where the wings, right near where they meet the body, there are big, gaps. So it's all solid black that leads up to where the wings would meet the body, and there are two, stripes that are taken out of it, all two empty spaces. Hannibal, would you give us a, what is it? Oh, not warrior lore. What is it? War lore?
Yeah, I guess he doesn't have that on.
Oh, maybe you don't know. Give us a vampire lore check. The difficulty is going to be quite hard on this. She says, sir, does this have any meaning to you?
Because unfortunately does not. It looks like some sort of division insignia, but I can't quite place it. I mean, I did lose a lot of memories after all. But
of course.
Most of us do when we die.
Of course, sir. If it seemed as if I implied otherwise, I do apologize.
No, it's what happens, I guess, when you're brought back.
And And she,
where did you get this? I mean, what is this from? And I do tell, like, we read your article about the
Thank you.
the
Thank you for
robbery.
reading.
The robbery, and I tell her we work. My partner runs. I don't know if he runs. My partner runs. I will say Shadow Illuminations. He's one of the investigators, and we're following up on some.
She looks. You're
incidences.
an illuminator, then.
I shrug. They say I'm the muscle, but I still got a brain.
Would you give us
you know how it is.
Diplomacy check, please? And we'll give you a plus. I'll also adjust the difficulty class of it. See what kind of impression. She's very impressed by the fact that you are at the least associated with Illuminators. She's so, tell me then, why would the Shadow Eliminations Detective Agency be involved with, be interested in such a crime?
I mean, I guess, do I trust all my fellow veterans? I guess I do.
Yeah.
And McGruff. So I'm going to tell her, because look, so the child who was shot was brought in to a doctor's office and was badly burned. Apparently, he was one of us. A priest had unfortunately not seen that and they burned him. So apparently, the serum is being given. This life-saving serum is being given to children who may or may not be in the state that we were at, which is very concerning.
Does the word Nighthawks mean anything to you? Why don't you give us a society check, please?
Perhaps it does.
Wait a minute. And you're like, let me see that symbol again. And you see it once again, and it triggers your memory. The Nighthawks, it was a name given to the 4th Paridar Recon Corps during the war. The 4th Paridar Recon Corps were called the Nighthawks. They were effectively like a reconnaissance and, special operations, as it were, unit. And the markings they would give to sort of sow terror in the enemy is the Nighthawk. And a Nighthawk is the most distinctive thing about the Nighthawks is they have these big white stripes along where the body meets the wings.
So is this unit still in operation, or is it disbanded, or?
From what you know, the most of the Paridar military has been discharged. After the war, everyone is sort of sent back to home. But most adult men and women at some point or some way or another served during that conflict. But that particular one, there would be no need for it. Certainly, they didn't recruit children. Does it mean anything to you?
Well, I tell her this is the symbol of the Nighthawks. They were a recon op in the war.
Then what would you say, sir, if I told you that these markings were found at the scene where a series of burglaries and muggings occurred, all seeming to involve a gang of urchins?
I would say someone is defacing the good name of this unit. Wouldn't you all agree? And I asked my fellow veterans. But that could also mean these are dangerous people if they have this kind of training.
None have seen... Tell me, do you know any names from the unit? And from your role, you can't remember. Maybe you've met people from the 4th Recon Corps at some point, but no names spring to mind.
No names spring to mind, ma'am. Well, I'm sure, because my partner Basil was also in the war, and he has a keener mind than I do. So
Basil.
perhaps he wouldn't.
Is it Basil Rathbone?
Yes, it is the Basil Rathbone.
I would appreciate an interview with him as well. Perhaps
because we are meeting at the Lion's Head for a pint to collect our thoughts and information in this investigation. If you would not mind joining us.
She pulls a little pocket watch out, checks it. Shall we say 3 o'clock then?
That's about the time.
Good. Clicks the thing close. Thank you, Mr. Descartes. Mr. McGrath.
Well, thank you very much, ma'am.
And he sort of salutes her, and then his arm kind of freezes in place for a moment.
Oh, geez.
And it comes down.
Gotta bang it in the right place.
And he she sort of thanks you and goes back to her conversation with the other vets. And unless there's anything else that Hannibal wishes to do here, we will transition.
No, we can
to
change the spotlight.
Yeah. Dr. Ursprung or Basil, who would like to go next? The polite standoff. Conscientious players all around. All right, so Basil, what we see as you walk up is there is the, you get there's one or two constables who are looking down at you as you make your way in. And as a reminder, the Yasaki or rat folk are only about like 3 feet tall. So it's effectively this little, a wonderful mouse detective who makes his way into the office. And I think that his Captain Withers' assistant likely knows you already. And she, a big beam, her name, I think, is going to be Mrs. Worthington. And
Mrs. Worthington.
Master Basil.
Yeah.
How wonderful to see you again.
Wonderful to see you as always. So I think you must have been you have been to the hairdressers. I see you have a new hairstyle.
You're always a flatterer, Master Basil. So when are you going? When will we be getting an invitation to your wedding? A flatterer such as yourself should not be single for that long.
So it's a very delicate manner, So within the vast amount of prospects in the family, choosing only one wife will get a lot of trouble with the other.
Basil, you give me. You've got more excuses than whiskers. So then you hear from within the office, "That's quite enough, Mrs. Worthington. Basil, come on in." And that is Captain Withers. So you walk in, and he's set behind a desk, and there's two younger constables who sort of pass by you as you walk in. They almost walk over you, but you're sort of used to that. You move to the side and then bring your way in. And he looks down. Without looking at you, he sort of gets up and walks his way over. "Brandy, Basil?"
Yes, the normal amount. Knowing that he would only fill the glass half or something.
Yeah,
like
so
that.
he fills them up, brings it over. Then, Basil, what can I do for you? What is it? Might I guess?
Most likely, I'm here for this children's gangs and the shooting and what happened there.
He puts down a copy of the Paridar Globe, and there's a big. There are not. They're effectively cameras, but there are like clockwork mechanical cameras actually canonical in Gears and Guns, incidentally. There's a front page photo of the scene of the thing. Like there's the broken vials, there's the, people standing around, there's the blood stain on the snow. This is right before Yule. This cannot be an intolerable situation. Tell me you're working on this, Basil.
Yes, I am.
And? How does this proceed?
Yeah, so the only thing we have found out so far, and we only started about 1 hour ago, is I look at it. Someone is using children gangs to get hold of the serum, I suppose.
Yes, terrible things. What,
Yes.
you think it might be that ghoul father fellow?
No, so not without external cause. I think he himself would never go so far.
One that would exploit children such as that. I think he might be capable of anything.
Yeah, one might think, but in his clouded mind, I think he thinks of himself as taking care of them and offering them a chance in life. You know, the kind of fellow.
He has a look on his face like he bit into something that didn't agree with him. Well, takes a sip of the brandy.
Yeah.
Then, what can I tell? How can I help?
Yeah. Do you know anything about those gangs? So where do they? Do you have any idea where they meet or where they? I don't know.
I can
where
say
they might hide or something like that.
What we know is in the last 3 months, we've seen a distinct change in the way that they approach, much more violent and much more daring. In place of rolling gaff, men returning from work or stealing the jewelry of women, they've now taken to violent assaults and preying on the best parts of society. Robbing up in Highbridge.
I see.
Children are all with each time as well. The few have seen, and these damned markings left behind too. And he shows you a picture of the exact same thing that Hannibal saw.
Yeah. Do I recognize them?
Why don't you give us I think what warfare lore is what Basil, because you got a vet warrior
Yes,
background.
I have that. Yes.
Can't go ahead and give us. Holy shit!
24.
Everything I told you that Hannibal knew, you know precisely that.
Yeah.
In addition to, there is. You're fairly certain that someone from the 4th Recon Corps, early in the conflict, were they the ones to first receive the serum?
Okay.
So you recognize it's the Nighthawks for sure.
Yes. Okay. I see. So this would actually be a 25 then, or maybe not, but I
Yep.
suppose.
So 25. Yeah, I think if you had a chance to review records, you may be able to identify the name that you're thinking of.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
There was someone early on who got like early in the conflict. It was only at the tail end is when they introduced the vampiric serum, and that's when, you know. So, what do you say to Captain Withers?
So, I think we're on first name basis. So, Odie, I think I have an idea. I will have to check my old my old archive, but I think there might be someone, maybe a veteran as well, who's
A corpseman.
behind. Yeah,
A corpseman
likely.
behind this.
Yes, it might be, but don't we, as you know, my partner is a corpsman as well. We are not going to prejudice, so it might be one of them, or it might be someone playing on them. You are never sure. But I think these children are played by someone else, and I will find out.
Indeed.
So.
Then, is there anything else we can assist with?
Not at the moment. Thank you very much. You have been a great assistance already.
Then, I will look forward to hearing the results of your investigation.
Yes.
And we'll send in them when we are boys when we are needed. Hey?
Yeah, thanks.
And he gestures at the paper. No more such headlines.
No, well, maybe better.
You can also see Odie has, it's been there for a long time, but he does have a ring indicating membership in a secret society as well.
Oh, yeah.
Not
That's
uncommon
normal.
for the society types. Then, thank you, Basil.
Thank you.
I think that
Goodbye.
Mrs. Worthington is distracted sufficiently for you to be able to make your escape without more romantic pairings planned in mind.
Oh, yeah. I'm out of whiskers. No.
Then, goodbye. So you head off, and you're able to escape without further pressures from Mrs. Worthington. We now cut to Dr. Ersprung. So, Dr. Ersprung, where do you think you would be meeting up with Dr. Raycroft?
Does he have his own practice of some sort? Does he work at a facility?
I think, he has both a position with the hospital I think that in spite of his, you definitely made an effective arm for him too. I think that his days of conducting surgery are likely behind him. So he has an advisory capacity at the sort of the Memorial Paridar Hospital. He also has his private home, and he has probably a side clinic attached to the home as well. Something where only the most prestigious, patrons would go. So any of those could be a place, or perhaps it is a private club if you really want to shake things up. Because the patchwork man showing up at the club would definitely raise a few, grayed eyebrows.
Well, I mean, from the I don't know if it's during the week, is it, or weekend, or I know it's all
probably during the week.
Yeah. So,
and this is the lead up to Yule as well, too. So it's sort of like a pre-holiday sort of time.
Okay. Well, I'd probably try his home first as the most likely place.
So let's move over to his home. So, unsurprisingly, his home. Oh, actually, you know what? I got even better. This is fairly rich, and then there is super rich. Now, this is not his home, but it is commensurate with the sort of grandiose dwellings that he would have. Boom. So, you are visited by first one of his manservants, and then the good doctor finally asks you to meet him in his not emergency, what would you call it? His casualty. So you walk in, and he is dressed in sort of the white scrubs you'd expect of a doctor, and pristine, of course. And he seems to be writing something down. As you walk in, he turns and says, "Adam, how good to see you again. How are things?"
I am well. Yourself?
Good. You look good yourself. Tell me, is there something you need for the clinic? Have you come by for that?
Unfortunately not. It's a grave subject that I wish to discuss with you.
Oh? Are you well? No issue?
It's not myself.
Good. Then, please, any gestures? Might I offer you a drink?
I'm not even sure Adam drinks. I know he doesn't eat. But yeah, I'm sure he'd partake of something.
Okay. So he offers you a small, not postprandial, but like a small little drink. Probably not sherry, little small glass. That makes it even more comical in your giant hands.
Yeah.
Puts it down. Then, please, Adam, what might I help with? What is wrong?
Well, I'm sure you've seen the news and the more disturbing talk of the serum.
Terrible. This woman Carrington makes such if what she says is true, children being infected with such a thing.
Well, I wish to sort of learn more about the serum, and obviously you were heavily involved at the beginning. What?
He sort of slumps a little bit. And he says, "To my regret, those poor devils who we brought back. I don't know if we made things better or worse for them."
Well, yes, I can't talk of such things myself. you know, I'd
And
be
he looks at
rather
you and-
hypocritical.
Oh, of course, Adam, I'm sorry. I did not mean to... Forgive me. I am an old fool whose words get away from him. The children, that is what brings your...
Well, it's I'm confused that what would the serum be used for? Why would someone use the serum? What advantages would it give them? Some control over these children, or give them, you know, almost
His
a
eyes
boost
sort of
to
go
their
up.
strength? And how would it affect them? They would
As
take
you know-
advantage? How?
I'm not certain how familiar are you with the development of the serum. Why don't you give us a medicine check, please? Let's see how much you've committed to memory. Oh, you want to spend a astonishing hero point?
I will do, yeah.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, so what you know in basic is that it is based on vampiric blood. Like, there are several lines of vampires that have at times threatened Paridar, always from outside as well, too. And they made use of that to develop the serum. It is not turning people into vampires necessarily, but it is halfway towards that. Alchemical treatments and whatnot that have been administered to it. But what we found is over the course of the development and over the course of the war, in the waning years, there were several iterations of the serum used, each with varying degrees. It was war, you see. We did not have time to fully test, and we did not realize that some early versions of the serum would degenerate. And those, we tried to address as many of those as we could. And you don't need to read between the lines that it means they killed the people. They destroyed those who degenerated, but rather than simply reanimating them, it transformed them as if changed by a vampire themselves.
These
We
are
also-
worrying times, yeah.
It is, and I tell you this in confidence, and I ask that you not spread this, for the thought of veterans being susceptible. Adam, it seems that the serum also made one more susceptible to the influence. One of the gifts that our serum did not transfer to the recipients was the ability to warp the mind that some of those undead fiends can do. And what the serum does is weaken the resolve to such things. If one such vampire has made its way into the city and it was aware of that tendency to make the recipients of the serum more pliable, that may be the incentive they need. Though, gods, the nightmare. What if one of these fiends came? They would find themselves, potentially, a ready-made army of veterans among the corpsemen, and now amongst these poor creatures that you serve.
Is there any test that I could do on any of these? If I had a blood sample or something, would we be able to tell if they've changed the serum, or how
If they
acceptable
had
it would
changed, they would not need to change in order to have the control, though, unless there is a vampire of the bloodline we used from the source, or if we were told by the administratum that all recipients of the first generation serum were dead. Finally, dead. But if one survived and went through the full degenerative transformation, it would be a corpseman that others would follow unwillingly. And these poor children. We should never have developed such a thing. But we cannot undo. We must only deal with the sins of our past and seek to redress them. Adam, why do you ask me about this?
Unfortunately, it sounds like this could be coming true. A number of children have been reported of getting up to what seemed to be at first misdemeanors, small thefts, but now it's escalating, and they're making attacks on high society, and the thefts are becoming more widespread and more violent. Like you say, a small gang is seemingly growing, and there's more violence, and it's more structured and more targeted. I think your fears may be coming true.
If there is a survivor of the first iteration of the serum, there is nothing that can be done for them. And there is nothing that can be done for the children who may have been injected with the modern version of the serum. I've asked that they cease production of this. The war is over. There's no need for this any longer. Parliament seems keen on maintaining a stockpile, a deterrent. That's what was stolen, you see. That's what you're here for, isn't it?
Well, a number of vials have been stolen in the last few days. We must stop the production. Have you any influence that you'd be able to call on?
I have tried. For now, let me try. Let me see. Let me see what can be done on my end. If you would just see to your patients, I will see to what can be done on my end. If there's... Or is this more than just simple curiosity, Adam?
Well, I've seen more patients over the last few days, but I'm trying to help with some investigation to get to the bottom of this. We must put an end to it, or else our city itself is in danger of being overrun by such an army of creatures.
If there is anything that I can assist with, let me. I will be happy to lend that assistance. But with the Parliament, leave it with me, and I will see what can be done.
Well, I shall return. Say, how long shall I allow you to?
Can I reach you at the clinic?
Well, you can certainly leave a message if I'm not there.
I will leave word then. Thank you.
And lastly, would there be any way of identifying this first generation if we were to come across such a person?
You would have no difficulty. They would be more animal than human. The things that we used, horrible creatures. Those that, horrible. You would have no difficulty seeing such a thing. A wolf among sheep.
Okay. Well, I will bid you farewell, and I hope that our next meeting will be on better circumstances and with better news.
Indeed. Thank you, Adam. And he shakes his hand. Whatever the name of your nurse is, he says, be sure to say hello. And you see that as he's getting him, taking the medical clothes off, he clearly was seeing someone, takes his jacket off. He then, with his one flesh hand, he puts a ring back on his finger. Another signet of something.
And do I know this? I mean, I don't know how well I know him. Do I know that he's member?
Many members of the aristocracy are members of various secret or occult societies.
But not something that's come up in conversation or he's ever given me any...
it's, I mean, it's sort of the aristocracy in, and the rich in Paridar. It's kind of like, membership in the Freemasons or the, Thelema, religion, or the Theosophy, beliefs. It's popular for them to be members of the different occultic societies. Another way for the rich to sort of have secret ways of controlling everybody else.
Okay.
Unsurprisingly, you have not been invited to be a member.
No. And before I leave, do you need assistance with your work? Have you patients that I can assist with before I leave?
And he gives you a sort of a humoring kind of look. He says, I do appreciate the offer, Doctor, but my patients are not as enlightened as I, in consideration of your condition.
Very well.
So then, why don't we take our mid-session break right now? Actually, we're just right on the nose of the mid-session break. Take our mid-session break, and then we will come back and see what happens when our heroes compare notes. So, for those listening at home, we'll be back momentarily. All right. Trying to figure out where to put everything again here. Okay. So everyone will get a hero point as well, too.
Yay!
So, meeting up at... Did we say it was the 3 lions?
Yeah, something like that. Something with a lion.
Okay, let's see here.
Something alliance, wasn't it?
Was it lions? It could very well be. I don't have to ask Carl when he gets back. The name of the...
Something alliance. I might have misheard.
Carl, what was the name of the pub that you all are meeting up at?
Lion's Head.
Lion's Head, okay.
That's very. I'm sure there's like a million Lion's Heads in the UK.
Okay, so...
Or King's Head.
Yeah, that or King's Head. Yeah.
Yeah. There's been a King's Head in every place I've lived. Every city. Okay. Oh, and Carl, you get another hero point, too.
Would you use it?
Okay, and here we go. I'm bringing you guys over here. It's a little later in the day now. Oh, you just need to up. Sorry, I've moved the old versions. I'll give you guys each 3 hero points. Here we go. And there you go. All right, so who is the last of you think to arrive? Oh, it was afternoon. It's not evening, but it's always smoky in the streets of Paridar. So,
Yep.
I would imagine I'm quite slow with Igor, especially.
Yep.
And I do try and avoid the upper class where possible, so I do sort of take a bit of a funny route in that sometimes.
okay. So as you walk into the King's Head, picture the pub is, fairly busy. It's, a couple days before Yule, so it's people are eager to, enjoy their last drinks with their friends and colleagues and whatnot before they head off for family for the holiday season. You can see that Basil and Hannibal are sitting at a booth off by the side and kind of having a discussion. You are easily able to identify them. You stand a head tall over, or head taller than anyone else here, and easily make your way over and rejoin them. Igor is standing at the side, kind of discreetly out of the way. So,
Yeah. May I have already been to my archive and looked up the name, or?
yes, give us a warfare lore check, please. Let's see here.
Okay.
The difficulty will be a little lower here, too. I think it's only going to be a 13.
Okay. Let's see.
Man, that I was not sure that the +1 would really matter that much, but there's been 3 times this session where it's been a critical factor, so that's pretty fucking cool.
That's funny.
You have a name. The name is a former member of the 4th Recon Corps, whose name was Major Garrett Fitzhume. Fitzhume is one of the first recipients of the virus. He died and was reanimated successfully, according to these records.
Oh, yeah. It is, as I might have a hunch or whatever, that I heard this name already in the title of the session, but yeah.
Well,
Weird.
that makes sense based on what Miss Carrington was supposed to meet us here.
I think at that you sort of see the door opens and this, almost platinum blonde woman walks in, looks around, sees you, and sort of waves and makes her way over.
She wanted to meet you, Basil.
Okay, yeah, why?
She walks over. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Ducard.
I present Basil Rathbone.
Mr. Rathbone. A pleasure to meet you.
And this is
Annabelle Carrington.
And this is Dr. Adam Earthsprung. He's the one who brought us the case.
Doctor, Dr. Ersprung, do you operate the infirmary?
Yes, that's correct. In the lower quarters.
I've heard about you. I would be interested in discussing the particulars of your facility at a later time, if you don't mind the publicity, that is.
As long as it's for the good of the people, I'd happily speak.
We will discuss this after. And she gestures to the booth. May I?
Of course, you stand up. Make sure when she.
Okay. So she sits down, and she says, "I understand that you have been pursuing the same story or problem that I have."
Yes. Yes.
We have a saying, Mr. Rathbone, in my profession. You show me yours, and I will show you mine.
Really?
Your whiskers are uncomfortably twitching.
Let's say the following. So, what have you done at the war?
What have I done?
Yes.
I only served in a civilian capacity during the war.
So
but I understand that she flips a little bit. You served, though, did you not?
Yes. All of us did. And
Dr. Ersprung, actually, it's not clear he did. Dr. Ersprung's got a little bit of a mysterious background.
Well, I mean, maybe
You definitely
his various parts of his did.
At times, you have recollections of having served, but they're disjointed, and you think that they're actually maybe the memories of two different people who have sort of fused together in your memories of the war. So it's very unclear.
So I will say. So it seems like the first Paridar Recon Corps was about those who were treated with the Dampier virus first. And it seems that there might be a connection to our case.
And how so? Wait, they were the Nighthawks.
They were the Nighthawks, and...
So you think it's a
iconography
corpsman?
on the...
It's a corpsman behind them, isn't it? And she flips through
I'm not sure, and we should not speculate at this moment. It might be that someone is pretending to be one of those, or using one of those Recon Corps Nighthawks persons. But there is a lead, at least.
Is it not the case that they're the one who calls himself the Ghoul Father? He is a corpsman, is he not? And he makes use of children, does he not?
Well, this is beyond what he usually... Infecting children is not his thing. He would see that not as a as odd as it might sound, the Ghoul Father sees himself as a father figure, and he would not derange or damage children in that way.
So let me put it this way: it might be that someone else is controlling this, and we have to find out who it is. If we were now to publish some story claiming that it was the Ghoul Father or it was this and this, we would just warn them. So we will need another day, and then I can tell you more. But I suppose we are getting closer and closer.
Why don't you give us
if you strike too far, then the person in the background will just hide away.
Why don't you give us a diplomacy check, please?
Also, Kevin, the Ghoul Father, he wasn't 4th Recon, right?
He was not 4th Recon, no.
Yeah.
He was a recipient of something probably around your, whatever iteration of the thing.
Class.
All right, so she
22.
She locks eyes with you for a moment, Basil. Her eyes kind of narrow, yours kind of narrow. And she says, "Very well, Mr. Rathbone. I will withhold. However, it is on the understanding that what information you provide will come to me first for publication.
We promise exclusivity, or however you pronounce that.
Exclusivity.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So yeah, we can indeed do that, but please be very careful.
I mean, I do say.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead,
No,
Carl.
go first. No, you're in the middle of a thought. I thought your pause was.
No, I
for Dom
just.
and that. Finish.
I would
yours.
just. Sorry. So
Finish,
No,
finish.
You go. So.
I was going to emphasize that the Ghoulfather did not fight was not part of the 4th Recon. He's from my class of Dampiers.
All right. I will withhold publication then, but I will, and she sort of smiles. Mr. Rathbone, your concern is touching, but I am a big girl. And she sort of holds her. She, as she stands up, she and like kind of downs her pint. She pushes her coat back a little bit, and you can see that there is a coat pistol concealed in her, like within her jacket. She dresses herself up. If there's anything else, you can reach me through the globe.
We will do. Thank you very much.
And you, Dr. Ersprung, we will be in touch for that profile. Mr. Ducard, she nods, puts the empty pint glass down, and makes her departure. So, you guys have an opportunity free of the press to talk about what you learned and what you plan on doing next.
Yeah, so I just take a very short moment to look at Hannibal. So she has shown me her gun. Was I supposed to show her my gun as well? I don't understand this curious saying.
Yes, I do not understand women, much less so now. Because I do, but she has already been talking to various legions. I met her there. I ran into her there. I did not meet her, but these Nighthawks. This is a 4th Paridar Recon Corps symbol, and apparently that's her lead. And she's found these on a series of burglars and muggings involving children.
So I have a name. It's Major Garrett Fitzhume.
And
He might be somehow connected to this.
Hannibal, you can give us a society roll check if you like.
Okay.
That one.
No idea. Yeah, I have no idea.
No, he's the name means nothing to you. But again, like we you didn't necessarily know anyone from 4th Recon.
So, but Dr. Ursprung, it's so hard to not pronounce it German.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Ursprung, did you get any information out of Dr. Raycroft?
I did speak to him, and I didn't want to speak in front of the reporter.
Very wisely.
Because I only wanted you two to hear what he said, and obviously we don't want to cause any more concern. But he seems to think that if there was possibly one of the people from the first serum still alive, they would potentially have some sort of almost mind control over people that have been taking this serum or given the serum. So if such a person still exists, or such a creature as they would probably now be, they could be creating an army in the city.
I cast a suspicious glance at Hannibal.
Hannibal does. I don't know what. I wouldn't. Why are you looking at me?
Just for no reason. So, but I was just thinking. So, imagine that there was this Major Garrett Fitzhume was really one of those first infected, and he survived. And now he has taken hold of the Ghoul Father, and the Ghoul Father is actually, in fact, let me say, poisoning children. Not on his own will, but because he is basically forced to do that. That would make a lot of sense and would fit into this thing. So the gangs got more violent. They changed their behavior in the last couple of months. So,
But there's, yeah, I mean that would make sense. I would think that an ex-member of the Recon would have more, I don't know, deadly aspirations. So maybe we visit the Ghoul Father next and see if he is compromised.
might be, but so excuse me, my friend, but do we know whether you could be compromised as well?
Well, if I am compromised, I give you permission to use any holy power you have to burn me up.
Dr. Earthsprung, would you kindly give us a medicine check, please?
Certainly shall. I'm going to re-roll that, if that's all right.
Yeah, spin your point. Go ahead. Nice. So something that Dr. Raycroft mentioned has kind of been sticking with you. What if Parliament's been stockpiling this stuff? What do you think the chances are that this theft that went wrong and made the press is the first time bulk shipments or bulk amounts of the serum have been taken?
Yeah, I did wonder where were they being taken to would be the question. I'll ask obviously Hannibal and Basil. Where do you think this shipment of serum would have been transported to? Where would they need to be taking it if they're not storing it where it's being made?
So, how is this serum applied to you? Could you poison the water or just
Injection, as far as I'm aware.
Injection normally, but with the genius of the alchemists and chemists of Paridar, who knows what miraculous advances may come.
Do I think it's possible?
With a roll that good, I mean, the serum, if it's as Dr. Raycroft said, that it initially was unstable and would have the recipients degenerate, it has been changed and stabilized over time such that it does not, it just transforms people into Dampiers instead. It's possible. It's delivered through a kind of like a transmitting vector as it is. If that was transformed into a large enough sample that was stable through consumption as opposed to injection.
I mean, there isn't any, I know it's COVID times, but there isn't any sort of vaccines or any sort of treatments that are given out on any sort of bulk level that they could try and hide such a thing in?
There are. There still would be, in the same way that inoculation, widespread inoculation or vaccination is sort of a thing in Victorian England. It's the same thing in Paridar. Science and medicine and technology and engineering are all sort of at this sort of breakneck pace in Paridar. So, yeah.
So let's just imagine that. So there is kind of an army of possibly, or maybe there is already an army. Maybe there will be an army of people who can be controlled by one creature alone, and can't act on their own free will. That would be very, very harmful and would be probably the most dangerous situation, more dangerous than the war itself. So I think we have to find those responsible really
So we
fast.
follow your hunch first, or this parliamentary plot?
What you guys can know is that what Dr. Raycroft said to Adam was really kind of being polite, because like the likelihood of you bunch of outsiders having any influence over the powerful and whatnot at this point, right? Like it's you guys are unfortunately small cogs in a massive moving world of wealth and class disparity and whatnot. That doesn't mean that you guys aren't capable of doing something to improve the situation for the city and for particularly your community, though.
I think we should stay local and try to address what we can here.
Yeah.
And then hope that maybe if it is in the Paradigm globe, then this might have an influence or something. I don't know, but let's now get to the root of the evil here and then see how we can. So if I understood you correctly, Adam, then it is only the first bunch of people could control the others. So if there is only one left and we manage to destroy him, then this danger is in a way less dangerous, because then at least we are rid of the mind control.
I mean, that's the impression the doctor gave me. So I've asked him to try and stop the production of the serum, but he didn't seem very hopeful. So we need to find, the source of this control, or at least stop the spread. Or stop the spread of this serum going out at first. But maybe this Ghoulfather, it's affecting his small little operation, and maybe he would be able to help us.
Yeah, I think he's already on the. He's one of those who are controlled. But yeah, let's go to him. I think we have no. So the only thing we could do is just ask around and maybe try to find this Major Fitzhume directly.
Well, we could ask the Ghoulfather himself. Maybe he knows about someone encroaching on his territory.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that the Ghoulfather is not compromised, but we can just ask.
But I would hate. So we should do this clever and cunningly, and not going to get into a deadly fight with children.
The other thing I was thinking is there any way I can make any modifications to Igor to maybe detect anyone with this vampiric sort of serum, bloodshot eye or some sort of...
Probably not without... No. So it's a good question, though. One of the things that you can do with your class is you've got a feat called Inventor, and what that allows you to do is in downtime, you can add another recipe for the device. So if there was and I'm sure there is something similar in Guns and Gear, or if not, you could come up with something that would be like a Dampier detector, right? And you could then develop that thing, and you could build it over the course of however long you need to build the thing, and you could incorporate that into Igor. So it's a good idea. I don't think you have the time right now to be able to make those quick modifications, but it's a great example of what you can do with the Inventor classes.
He'll be thinking about it anyway, as a sort of long-term solution.
Maybe it's like he's idly, as they're talking, he's idly sketching out kind of a mechanism, for what might do that
scanning
thing.
or something. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you guys wish to do in the pub before you guys head out?
No.
I think we're gonna go visit the Ghoulfather, right?
I think so.
Okay. So you guys pick up, and so to find the Ghoulfather, I think this is going to be... It's going to require a little bit of asking around to get this. We're going to treat this like a... they call them just blanketly subsystems, and it's a thing where you need to generate a certain number of victory points before you are successful. If the Ghoulfather does not want to be found, then he may be tricky to ask to pin down. Not for nothing, this child abusing in the sense of like taking advantage of, not otherwise. Child abusing criminal has been tricky for the constabulary to track down. So I think what we'll set the difficulty is we need 6 victory points before you find this guy. And what you can easily do is you'll be making a different skill check during the exploration round. On a success, you will get 1 victory point. On a critical success, you'll get 2. On a critical failure, you'll lose 1, and something might happen. So, how are you guys thinking? And this is, we don't need to have this necessarily be actions. Like some of this can be recalling knowledge. So, who would like to make a check first? And you can think of this as sort of like, this is the montage scene in any kind of investigative film or, television show or whatnot, where we're seeing them talk to like, the pizza truck driver or whatnot, who's like, I'm pointing over in a direction, or, searching through archives, whatever. This is the investigative stage. Who would like to go first?
I'm happy to give it a go.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
So I'm going to take to the back streets and call on any of my previous patients that I've helped out for free or whatever.
Yep.
And just call on anyone that I think's got a little bit of a dubious background or connections that might have some knowledge of the underworld and the urchins and stuff. And just
so let's call that a underworld lore check of 11, DC 11, please.
Okay.
Ooh. That's at least 1 success. You want to spend a hero point to reroll, try and get a crit, or?
I'll leave it for now.
Okay.
I'll leave that one. Yep.
So we see Dr. Earthsprung asking around, and there are some who talked about this. There are places where they know that like child gangs, basically gangs of urchins, have been there, and they've known to avoid those areas in past. So that is 1 victory point, 5 more remaining. You think if you're asking around or you're trying to find something in that area, that may be where the Ghoulfather is located. Basil or Hannibal? What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, okay. So I would say I have I have a map of the city. I have written down the numbers where each kind of criminal investigation was happening. And I'm now trying to use data to triangulate where they might be hiding, because there's other things. So witnesses can never be trusted. We know that. And so,
what do you think here? Is it just flat perception?
Yeah, might be. So perception is. Where is perception on this?
Oh, it's on the bottom. It's on the right, underneath the conditions. There's 1 button for initiative, 1 button for.
Yeah. And I think I will get a +1 there, but.
Okay.
Oh,
it's 14. That is a success. So you've got an idea, and you're sort of, placing yet another pin on something. Definitely in this, there's a neighborhood called. Let's see here, East Leeton. That seems to be the area where the Ghoulfather is likely to be located. Hannibal, what are you thinking?
I think Hannibal could ask around, gather information from the locals in this region.
Yep.
To see if they know where the hideout might be or where.
Sure. So he's relying on that. I think it's probably diplomacy.
Diplomacy.
Yep. So DC 11 as well. Okay. That pretty good. So you're beginning to get some leads. You guys are halfway there. So Hannibal, some of the veterans that you've got too, like there's 1 or 2 of them who, like the Ghoulfather's not super popular amongst the people. But what he said, you have reached a threshold right now. They've said that they haven't seen his kids around that much.
Okay.
So
that's interesting.
Next pass, guys. Who would like to? You want to go back to Dr. Earthsprung again?
Okay.
Yep.
He's got quite a heavy interest in the occult, so I'm just wondering, Does the Ghoulfather, has he got any sort of symbols or any signs he leaves around the streets that may not be noticed by sort of the general public? Some sort of secret?
It's possible. I think occultism would probably be a high one. He's not really... The way... He is definitely an unnatural, creature because he's been reanimated. But he doesn't really make use of... from what you can tell, well, make the roll and let's see how we do here, because I think it's probably going to give you difficulty. I think it's going to be a 15 here in the way of like knowing. You want to spend a hero point?
I am gonna, yeah.
Okay, because I think like learning what. There you go, Nat. Look at that. So the learning what he's not about, I think, is as helpful as learning what he is about. That is a success. We only need one more victory point. I think what you asking around has sort of helped narrow down the fact he's not using supernatural means to control these kids. He's not using whatever. From what I think you maybe run into like someone from your neighborhood, right, who is probably like 17, and someone who grew up sort of as one of the Ghoulfather's kids, and he's like, the gist you get from him is that like the Ghoulfather he's a hard master, but life's hard. His perspective is like he made us hard. He asked much of us, and he required us to earn our pay and whatnot. But how's that different from my boss now? Yeah.
Hard but fair.
Yeah. And the one thing you will say is he has helped narrow down a bit. He won't betray him. So, I mean, if one of you other ones want to follow up with this kid as well, with like, say, an intimidation or something like that, that might be a way to finally locate where to find him.
Is that loyalty or fear that seems to make him silent?
Give us a perception check. So, let's see.
Where's his perception?
Bottom right. It's underneath the conditions. Perception is used in Pathfinder 2 when you roll for initiative. You actually, whatever skill that sort of makes sense for the transitioning from exploration mode into encounter mode, that's what you use. So there's a bunch of different varieties, and perception is the default if you're not using another skill.
Okay.
So main page. Oh, there you go.
Got it? Yeah.
You think it's loyalty.
Right.
It may be, I mean, like, there may be a fucked up kind of loyalty there as well, in the way that, like...
strange.
Yeah, kids can be, loyal to abusive parents, kind of stuff, but it's, he's definitely loyal.
So, Carl, do you want to follow this up, or I would try a different approach otherwise?
I was actually thinking, I don't know, I guess, how do Dampiers work? Is there like, do we actually have to drink blood or feed?
Nope.
And if so, no. Okay.
Nope. You don't. You don't mind it. It's something you can like live off of if you choose to. Okay. But you're not.
So it wouldn't be I guess what I was thinking of more is like, since we've narrowed down the area, are there any secret symbols that might be used by the Ghoulfather's gang?
Yeah.
That could be like society, I think, maybe.
That'd be society. And a lower DC would be underworld door. So you can make a society check at, let's say, DC 15, or an underworld lore check at DC 13.
Well, I'll do society since I don't have underworld lore, but I guess I can let Basil or Adam know that that's something you can look around for. So because I might have that lore.
Yeah.
All right. Society. Ooh, I will use a hero point.
Want to spend a hero point?
Yep.
There you go. Yeah, and you find it. You spot it. Just like, yeah. So,
yeah.
Where?
So, Kevin?
Yes.
Sorry. Just because I'm too nosy, I just want to. So I think I have now this complete plan. So Basil has worked it out. I have looked at all the list of houses and who owns them. So I just want to. So in the moment that he picks this house out, I always come. I have it.
Well, it's actually not a house. where he.
So that's interesting.
Yep.
So
it
then I
is-
failed, maybe.
No. I think what it just means is that you have identified something different. Where it is
Oh,
an old factory.
Oh. Okay.
Something that's not in operation right now.
So how do we? So I think this is it, based on, the symbols and what we talked about, and you're running into your old patient there, Dr. Ersprung.
yeah. So the data points to this house.
Oh. Okay. Well, I would say our beat in the street.
Okay. So we sort of are. We'll pick up where you guys have met up outside of the Ghoulfather's lair.
I'm a little bit concerned that I'm going to give away our entrance to this factory. I'm wondering if me and Igor should maybe cover the back door in case he doesn't want to talk to us. If he's
You like-
suspicious.
We could sneak in.
Yeah.
Well, I fear that I may be not able to do that either.
7 foot tall, 300-pound man. Maybe I'm not the best pick for this.
With a machine next to us.
I could sneak in and just have a peek.
Ah,
All right.
No, good.
So could Hannibal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or,
Okay.
yeah, we could try from different sides or so.
Why don't you
I know.
each give us a stealth check, please, Basil and Hannibal. See how your reconnoitering goes. Okay. So, you guys have made your way in, and you can picture that on the inside of this, there likely was a time when this was full of people who were maybe working on garments at some point. There's the cast-off broken machinery, or abandoned machinery at least. The dust that hangs in here suggests that it has not been used for long, or hasn't been used in quite some time. But you do find markings on the walls as you are sneaking your way in that are clearly were put there by children's hands. It's chalk or some of the kinds of things that have drawn crude drawings that just come from both the imagination and from the young and unskilled hands of kids. And as you guys are carefully making your way in, thinking you are being as quiet as you can, you hear a voice. Have you come back to me then?
I will try to imitate a children's voice. I think my voice might be a little bit higher because I'm rather small Isoki.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you give us a deception check then, Basil? You want to spend a hero point?
Yes. Let's do this again.
There you go.
Oh, this was better.
Okay. So he says, you hear a kind of... he has released you then. He's released. Come, my children. Come. And you see sort of dropping down from the ceiling where he seems to have been lurking. There is Clovis Potter, the Ghoulfather. Where are you? Where are you, my children? I hear you, but cannot see you.
Yeah, I would just stay a little bit more in the shadows. So I think my height might be that of a child.
Yep.
So if he can't see my face, it might work. I hope.
Okay.
And Hannibal's gonna move around to back him up if necessary. Right.
Okay.
If this ploy doesn't go well.
Okay. So you carefully make your way around it. It appears, at least for where his focus is, that he knows, or at least hears Basil, but not you, Hannibal. Mm-hmm. So you're able to sneak your way around to the far side.
Is he injured? Does he look like he's been messed up, or
he looks? As rough as what he does in the illustration, but that's about it.
Okay.
He's not injured otherwise. And he says, "Come out of the shadows. Come where I can see you. We have work to be done. So much work that needs doing.
Yes, but the others.
The others, did you bring them with you? Or are they still with...
I couldn't. So, is there any way you can help me to free them?
His shoulders slump, and he says, alas. Samuel, is that you? Alas, Samuel. I cannot. For when I see him, my mind is not my own. But I will keep you safe, Samuel. Come. We'll be safe together. And we will figure a way to get the others somehow.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He was such a presence in my mind. I could barely escape.
He stops. But you, how? How, Samuel? How did you escape?
Yeah, this is. So I don't. I think it was luck. Someone, some other child got shot, and then there was some. I don't know. And
who was it who was shot?
It was. I don't know. So my character would know the name, but I forgot.
Thomas Boyd.
Tom. So he got shot.
Thomas McMillan? Oh,
Thomas Boyd.
Thomas Boyd.
Yes.
I do not know a Thomas Boyd.
So I don't know. Maybe he's new.
His stance shifts a bit, and his voice changes a bit.
So, okay, I think we can go out of the shadows now.
Okay, you walk out. He, yeah, and looks around, like trying to make sure he's got a clear escape route in mind. Who are you? What have you done with Samuel? Did he send you?
No, we want to find him. Where is Fitzhume?
He looks down. Who are you?
Maybe I think I'll come out of the shadows now and say, we're friends, Ghoulfather, we're friends.
He turns.
Compatriots.
Ducard!
Yes, we didn't know. Based on what we had heard and what you confirmed, didn't know if you'd been compromised. I fear for myself.
Why don't you can give us either diplomacy or vampire lore. Either of those will sort of represent.
I think I do vampire lore, it's a little better.
Sure. Now
oh
one.
My god. Uh-oh.
You want to spend a hero point?
Can I re-roll a critical fail?
Yeah, absolutely.
I will then, yes. Okay.
There you go. So he looks... Ducard, he's not like us. He reached in, he took my mind, and he took my children. They're not safe with him. You see? They're not safe with him.
No, you're getting too much press than I know you want.
I don't want...
Says, well, I know you don't want any. We want to find this Fitzhume. Stop what he's doing. We will get your children back.
Good. Make sure they are safe. Hannibal, I cannot... He's changing them, you see. He's changing them like him. And Dr. Ursprung, you're overhearing this. Feeding them. Would you give us another medicine check?
Yeah.
Nat 20. So the thing that dawns you, that's amazing. What do you think happens if you have a quasi-altered vampiric virus in you through the serum, and then you are fed vampiric blood? Like, there may be some other transformation happening if he's feeding the kids. It hadn't dawned on you until now, but you're aware of sort of the way that vampires reproduce by feeding their own blood to their desired offspring. If it's feeding vampiric blood to these kids, that transforms or can transform living things. What about something that's had its, as it were, engine primed to accept that kind of super fuel?
So they might mutate and become some kind of super vampires.
Yeah.
Adam, you have not revealed yourself yet, though. You're just kind of hearing this through the broken windows. The Ghoulfather is not being quiet in his discussions.
So
Yeah, I'm preparing to come in, but I'm just listening to the end of the conversation.
So, but Potter, tell us, where do we find Fitzhume? Where can we find him, and how can we destroy him?
Yarley Tower. And you guys can give us a society check. Difficulty in this is quite low. Both Basil and Dr. Ursprung, you're aware of this. There is a nearby neighborhood called Elderbridge. And in there, it's right by one of the two rivers that run through Paridar. And there is an old, what was a kind of like a chapel that developed into a tower that was then sort of abandoned as the neighborhood sort of fell to ruin. It now serves as or it was at one point sort of a open market for a bunch of different stalls, but Yarley Tower is a clear landmark in Elderbridge. Easily somewhere you can find. Difficult neighborhood, though.
Yeah, that was to be expected. Do you know of any weaknesses he might have?
He moves his head and he looks at you, Hannibal, and he says, "He is not like us." Hannibal, you don't need to make a roll for it because you're a vampire lord, though. If he is a vampire, radiant damage and silver. Silver is quite effective against vampires.
Okay. I have an idea. I say... I was going to ask a question, damn it. I don't remember what I was going to ask him. Shoot. Well, he goes, well, we definitely would like to take care of... Oh. What is his plan?
He shakes his head. I don't know. He took control of me, and he took my children. Yes. Whatever his plan is, he had no use for me.
You're too old, I see. You're already grown.
I'm going to walk in at this point.
Okay.
Join the group.
He turns. What is this?
He's with us.
So, Potter, tell me one thing. Would you fight for your children as well?
I would, but...
You can't.
He looks... Honestly, to your eyes, Dr. Ursprung, this is as helpless as that father looked when he turned that child over to you earlier. However twisted that this creature might be, he seems to have a deep investment in the well-being of those kids.
Is there any... I was just going to say, is there any way we can temporarily at least stop this control that he has over your kind? Have you found any way of reducing the influence?
I don't, though. Hannibal, he looks at you. Faith?
Force of will?
Hannibal, you know holy symbols. Holy symbols keep vampires at bay, or at least that's what has been said.
Yeah. They don't affect me, though, do they?
They do not, no. You're not a full vampire.
Well, we have some... That might be a way to keep that at bay, or some sort of protection against the vampire's influence. Some sort of holy spell.
Maybe we could experiment with Father Tilcott. Maybe he would be able to assist us.
Yeah. So
I don't know if I want to risk the father's life, but I definitely would like to get a hold of some silver bullets.
Well, he may be able to assist with holy symbols at least.
Yeah.
So I would just propose that we might do some kind of ruse to get at least the children out so that they won't be hurt in a crossfire. So we might have some kind of deception to lure Potter, as far as I understand, cares about the children. So if we were to forge something that he is now in possession of a large quantity of the serum, so it could be that the Fitzhume would send his children again to fetch it from here, and in the meantime we could attack Fitzhume.
Like stage another... Well, maybe your friend could arrange for another shipment to be sent out.
No, just say that the Ghoul Father has a lot of this stuff. So the children come here again. He will not fight them, I suppose, or he will not kill them. So
They might kill him, though. Are you willing to risk that, Clovis?
I think they can't kill him if he does not want to be killed.
He looks... why don't you give us a diplomacy check?
Yeah.
Let's see if you can convince him.
21.
He kind of nods and says, if it will save my children and you kill him, then yes.
So I would really hate if we have to fight a lot of children. As a player and as a character.
I'll say to
especially because they're not,
Yeah, I was going to say to Clovis, have you still got eyes and ears in the streets? Do you still know what goes on?
My eyes and ears are bent to him now.
I wondered if you knew of any more of these shipments. Maybe that would be something that we would...
What shipments?
Of this serum. Like before it was attacked, the shipment.
Is that... That's what he's doing with my children?
Yes. So the thing is, we could just... We could spread the rumor, forge something that your children will come here to steal serum, which you have stolen already.
He says, I will bring them out. I will draw them out of Yardley Tower. You kill him.
Okay. That's a word.
That's good. All right.
So, a brief stop at Dr. Earthsprung's laboratory. Because in addition to being a medical practitioner, he is also an engineering genius and easily is able to supply silver bullets to you.
That's good.
So you all have silver bullets. Is there anything else you guys would want to pick up before?
I would like to get a holy symbol, and I'll wear it.
I think...
But I'll tuck it in, because I have an idea. But,
Yep.
I don't know if it'll work, but...
So I think in our sort of preparation montage, you can see Father Tilcott has brought holy symbols for each of you two. If you sort of think of it's the Maltese cross. That's sort of how I'm picturing the holy symbol of the Church of the Heavenly Host. So he places those on, and he offers to accompany you.
That is great.
Yes, just let me know if. Well, I mean, if I take some injury, we have a doctor with us, right?
Well, I'll say Igor will protect you as best as he can, and I'll sort of assign Igor almost to sort of walk by his side for now.
Okay. Tilcott seems uneasy with the prospect, but it's only likely because this is not his wheelhouse, right? Everyone gets a hero point.
Yeah.
Now, what is the plan for heading in? Let me bring you over first. Let's switch over to... Here we go. Creepy music.
So I think we wait until Clovis has lured the children out, and then we will go in.
Okay.
Has he give us an idea of how he's planning to do that, or so that we can be part of it?
Oh, here we go. He says, "Don't you worry. I will bring them."
Okay.
Turn it down just a scooch. All right. I'll bring you guys over here. Boom. Welcome to Yardley Tower. Now, you can see that there is a couple of ways of getting in here, so getting entrance to it, but what you cannot see is that the tower must go up about 16 or more stories. It's a huge, sprawling complex that pushes itself out of the haze, and at night, being down right on the Parthas River, there is a thick fog that hangs in the air. There is an open kind of area that at some point likely was a place for worshippers to gather. Now it's been turned over to just a common market, but provides an open area. And we'll hear about your planning, but what Clovis does. Clovis Potter walks his way up into the middle of that courtyard and yells out, "My children! My children, I am here! Come!" And those of you with dark vision can see from the various nooks and crannies and windows that are within there. There are no lights in Yardley Tower. There are figures that are poking their way, their heads, and the reflection of their eyes, almost like cats in the dark, are catching, and you can see dozens of tiny eyes looking out from within. There is a brief pause as he waits, and the keen-eared of you can hear him still saying, "Come." He seems almost swallowed by the fog. And then suddenly one, then three, and then a horde of children run out and up towards Clovis. And what you see is he is borne down in a wave of his hungry children. It appears that your distraction has been affected. Now, where have you guys positioned yourself to get in here?
I think some side entrance or so that we could just.
This is like a church-looking thing.
Yeah, it was a church, but then they've also built over time, as it was abandoned by the Church of the Heavenly Host. It was taken up by first businesses and then markets, and then it sort of was left to stand fallow as the neighborhood deteriorated.
Yeah, would we know where like the best place this Fitzhume would be hiding out, or just we have no idea?
It's hard to tell. With your vampiric lore, you know that they would sleep in earth. That's their preferred place if he is indeed a vampire.
Is there like a back door to the sacristy, and then we can go down into any crypts?
If he is in the crypts, then yes. But the place has been rebuilt and remodeled so many times, so there's a bunch of different. It'll be, and with the state of decay of the thing as well, Lord knows where he will have as many roosts to hide in as he wishes.
Let's just go in from the back door or something like that. I honestly don't care, as long as we get in while the children are distracted outside.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to act quickly. It's not going to be distracted for long.
Okay.
I don't know if I can try to draw him out. I can run in the main door while this distraction is happening, and you guys come through the back.
The father says, but if it's as you say and he can control you, perhaps it's best we all stand together.
Yeah, I suppose so too.
I think stick together.
Okay. So we go in through the back.
All right.
Yes.
Why don't you each give us a stealth check, please?
Yeah.
Dr. Earthsprung, you're awesome at this.
Knock, knock.
The door falls off its hinges. I think I drugged him too hard. So you guys make your way, and you can picture that you make your way inside here. Now, does anyone not have dark vision? I can't remember who does and does not.
Probably the priest.
So,
I mean, I guess unless you gave me the feat, I have a low light vision.
Low light, because you don't have dark vision.
Yeah.
I've got low light.
Okay, so then what you see is, I think, to keep your hands free, Father Tilcott has his holy symbol aloft and shining light. You can picture that this place, it has all, with the rebuilt bits and, partly collapsed walls. The shadows that are cast in here are complex and confusing. You make your way into the the darkened first floor. You can hear creaking. And you can see at the side, there is a small area that looks to be a camp. Small cots, or at least the kind of makeshift equivalents thereof, are set up, and as in the Ghoulfather's lair, there are markings on the wall that could have only been made by children. Looking around, there are stairs leading up, and because of the centuries of life in Yarley Tower, the walls, or the ceiling has collapsed in many cases, and you can see very high up. And you can hear, as you get to the center, you cannot see anyone down here. You can hear the horrific sounds of Potter's fate outside, but always sound of the creaking boards underneath Igor, and Dr. Earthsprung as you make your way through here. You then hear voice. Who has come? Who has come to my home?
Do we know the motto of the fourth Paridar Reckoning Corps?
I don't. I mean, I think you rolled quite well from before. Maybe.
So I will say whatever they say. So something like whatever, like semper fi or whatever they are saying.
Sure. You served. I don't remember you, Ratman. And you can see about 2 stories up, a man leans forward enough for his pale face to be illuminated. And you gaze on Major Garrett Fitzhume.
I was told you were dead already, Major, when I entered the service.
That was true. I got better. Much better. Ducard, is it? We never met.
I doubt it. But the Nighthawks have been disbanded, Fitzhume. It's time for you to retire. I'm just going to pull out my gun and shoot.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. With your... Let's roll initiative then. Let's do this, guys. I'm going to swap us over. 1 second here.
Right, we're not trying to redeem this guy, right, Mike?
No.
Okay. Although, you never know.
All right.
Death redemption.
So let me do one thing here. I got to set up a token for him. Oh, actually. As soon as you pull your gun, his face changes.
I mean, you should always let the villain finish his talk. I mean, that's just impolite.
Now, let me quickly set up his. I'll grab my card.
Well, you did call me out, so I have to respond.
Right. All right. So everyone click on your token and then click on initiative. I think you guys can...
So I think you have to have the tracker open first.
There we go. Got it. Oh, no. Yeah, Basil showed up already.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Dang. Where is initiative on this?
Bottom right
Next
underneath
to perception. Yeah.
Yep.
Next to perception, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to set up a health bar for him. Just click on your token first.
Oh, damn it. I thought I did. No, I did. It didn't come up. My token is clicked. It's weird.
Oh, you clicked on perception instead of initiative. Go ahead and click on initiative, see if you do better. Ah!
No.
I'll give you the first one. All right, for him. Let's see here. Oh, my goodness. All right. I'm just going to turn this down a scooch. It's getting louder by the minute. Because of the equalizer, I have to keep the music low in the game so it doesn't drown you guys out. All right. Oh, shit, fuck. Throwing dice all over the place. No. Come here, you. Oh, boy, oversized. A healthy person doesn't make that sound. All right. Oh, boy. He is quick.
Whoa.
Okay. And let me make sure. So, Vessel to editors. You cannot edit it. Here we go. And his health is. There we go. All right. So, it is his turn first. So, you do get the gun out. You could stride first, too. So, maybe you're. He is 2 stories up right now. And it's probably would take you. Oh, man. At least 3 strides for the first level plus the stairs. So he's probably 5 strides away.
Okay.
Right now, if going up the stairs to get to him. So first, on his round, his face transforms into that inhuman look you see. And he... Ooh. Hannibal. Would you kindly give us a will save, please?
Okay, that's why I got some. I'll have the holy symbol on. So
yeah, the holy symbol on. So I'm adjusting the DC accordingly.
Okay, where is will?
Right in the middle, underneath armor.
I see it.
Yep.
Okay.
There we go.
I will use a hero point if I need to.
Sounds good. Yep, please do.
Oh.
Depends if you want to kill your allies. So that is fucking awesome. So what he's, you can feel in your mind, he says, kill them. And you're able to shake it off, but because you didn't get a critical success, you are stunned 1, which means that you only have 2 actions this round. You're sort of staggered from his mental impulse. His second one is going to be to stride. He begins making his way down towards you guys. Next up is Basil. Basil, what are you doing? 3 actions.
So yeah, the first thing is I devise a stratagem, which means I try to spot a weakness on him.
Now, does devise a stratagem require a skill, an action, or is it?
Yeah. So this depends on how nice you are in a way. Because
you've been playing with me for 3 years. How does that strike you?
Yeah. So if you say that he's in a way subject to the investigation, then it is a free action. Otherwise, I have to spend an action on it.
It is a one-shot, so I think this is subject to your investigation.
That's
free action.
Nice.
So you get to roll, what is it? You roll a d20, and then you get to choose to use that. And if you do use that number, it counts. You get to add your intelligence instead of your other stat.
Yes.
So go ahead. Oh.
So that is not so great.
Okay.
I think now we have hero points left, so let's use one.
Sounds good.
Come on. Maybe roll better.
Go.
No, a little bit. Okay, so let's keep that.
Okay.
So now so the idea is, I don't know how this works in the fiction, but at least I have some idea that he might have some weak spot somewhere.
Yep.
And so I can attack, and with a 15, so my attack roll is then this 11 plus 4. Plus
but you also
5.
count as trained, so you would add 2 plus your level, so you add plus 3 on top of that. It's plus your intelligence is a 14, is a 4 plus 4 bonus.
Yes. Okay.
So it'd be plus 7 in total. It'd be an 18.
Yeah.
So you're shooting at him.
Yes.
That is not good enough. Some of the boards explode around where he's running along the balcony to get to the stairs. But you don't get...
Yeah.
That was one action. You got 2 more.
Yeah. So as another action, I would like to point this out to Hannibal and Dr. Ursprung as well. So both of them get a +1.
Nice.
So this is 2 actions.
Take him down. He's weak over here. Hurry. Awesome. Then it is Hannibal's turn. So this round, because you're stunned, you have 2 actions. What are you doing?
I think I'm going to stride towards him, so that brings us within 2 strides, I believe, because he moved 1 and
he moved 1. He moved 1. Yeah, and you also have that free stride as well too. So you could actually be only 3.
I can draw my blade and take a free stride.
Well, so remember, one of the things you've got as a gunslinger, as soon as initiative is rolled, free action, your gun and your sword are out.
Yeah.
You also get a chance, because your clockwork arm, you get to stride 1 for free.
Okay.
Which means you're now only 4 away, as you said, and now you have 2 more actions.
Okay. So then I'm going to take a shot because the gun's out.
Yep. You got +1 to hit with this.
It's on character, right?
Yep.
That's the thing I don't like about these multi... Yep.
And you go solid with a +1. That is a hit.
Oh, no.
All right. So that is -5.
With a silver bullet.
It screeches in pain.
And I think with my last action, I'll reload.
Nice. All right. And because I'm trying to think. I just can't remember if you have an ability. When you attack with the sword, you get to reload with one free hand, right?
I think it's only the attack with the sword. So I'm not in range.
Honestly,
yet.
like to avoid, you're taking the action. You just hit the thing with your, because if you hit the side with your sword and then load it, technically you'll be able to do it. So you can reload as your last action. Awesome.
Okay.
Dr. Ursprung, what are you doing?
I was curious, what's the father doing in this situation?
He is currently standing behind Igor, holding up the light illuminating the area.
Okay. Because this is not his thing, really, the Doctor. He hasn't got any ranged weapons. So he's concerned about all these little children basically joining in the fight. So he's going to go and run over to the main door and try and barricade it up.
Yep.
So that we don't get a bunch of
That's
unwanted...
One action to stride over to it, one action to interact with the door, one action to interact with the thing going down. There's your 3 actions. All right, and then the father is just standing with his holy symbol up. Then it is this thing's turn. So I'm going to make a acrobatics check here. Okay. It turns and leaps over the side and lands down 10 feet away from the father. And because of the holy symbol being up, he's not able to get any closer. He will... Oh, Basil, you're down here, though. So he's going to leap towards you, Basil, as his next stride, and with his final action, he's going to try and hit you. Oh, also, because he's a vampire, he's healing back. So he then will leap in at you. What is your AC, Basil?
16.
16. Oh, that's a 25. So I nearly got a critical hit. And you take. Eesh. 14.
14. Yeah, that's
14 damage.
Yeah, that's I'm on 0, so okay.
Okay, and you drop down. Then it is Basil's turn. So Basil,
So just
you see, make a flat check if I remember. Let's see if you gain. You're at dying 1 right now.
yeah. Wait a minute. So I can I just
Do you have a reaction?
yeah. So the idea was if I could use a hero point to make you reroll.
You cannot,
No.
unless it's
Okay.
something that the
Or all your hero points to event dying. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. But you only gain the dying 1 status. When you hit dying 4 is when you actually shuffle off your mortal coil. So you're not dead yet, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you are... now what you get to make is a recovery check. It's a flat DC 10, plus your current dying value, which is 1. So give us just a flat D20 roll, please.
Okay.
They have this idea in... Oh! You want to spend a hero point on that?
Yeah, I should. Otherwise, I'm dying 3 already.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, well. No!
Oh my god!
Wow, he got you good.
He got you
Yes.
good. Your lifeblood is just spilling out. You're at dying 3 right now. Holy Christ.
Jeez.
All right. Hannibal, what would you like to do?
Oh, how far away is he now?
He is now 2 strides away. You have full actions this round, though.
Okay, so I guess I can.
So you got all sorts of cool stuff like shooting before to make something flat-footed and then make an attack afterwards.
What is that? Is the sword key? I have to get into melee though. That's the thing.
Yeah. I'll let you, because you've gone up the stairs at this point, I'll actually let you make a, as your first action, you can make an acrobatics check against DC, let's say 15, to just leap down.
Leap down, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you want to try that?
That's good. I have a reasonable chance.
Okay.
Yes.
Easy. So you smash through the brittle sides of this, you leap down. Now, did you want to make an attack before you get in, or are you going to make your melee attack first and then do the pistol second?
Well, I get a melee. If I get the melee attack and I hit, I get the pistol as a free, right? Is that right?
What's that? Say again?
When you successfully strike a melee, the next range strike makes him. Okay, no, that's not.
No, it just means that it makes it that you can't trigger attacks of opportunity.
Yeah, I'd rather just move.
Because if you
shoot.
shoot him,
Yeah.
the advantage to that is you have a better chance of hitting with your gun than you do your sword, and then making him flat-footed means that your next attack will be 2 easier, because it's flat-footed reduces their AC by 2.
Okay, so which one am I doing then?
Primary attack with your pistol first.
Okay, first. Okay.
Come on. Nice.
Ooh.
Awesome. Not a critical hit, but it is a shot. Another one of those.
Okay.
And then you
And
leap
then-
down.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead and give us a. So you roll your second one, the number 2 for your rapier.
Rapier. Okay. Ah, dang. Nothing.
You want to spend that last hero point?
No. What if he tries to charm me again?
Let me make things easier for you guys. We're getting closer to our last half hour.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets a hero point.
Okay, then I'll use that hero point.
Go ahead.
Didn't work.
All right. Dr. Ursprung, what are you doing?
Well, I'm going to run over to Basil and try and deal with this situation.
Yeah.
So he's pretty critical at the moment, isn't he?
Yes, let me see here.
I'm tempted to do something risky, but would that kill him in the process?
Why don't you click on your risky surgery, or whatever it's called, skill here.
So if you do that, I'm killed.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah, that's right, because he's so badly hurt.
yeah, that's what I weren't sure. So your surgery can bring a patient back from the brink of death, but might push them over the edge.
Yeah. So I'm at dying 3, and if I take another wound, I'm at dying 4, which means.
Well, you
completely
can
dead.
administer first aid, which is a.
So I could do a normal sort of check first.
Yeah. And the DC, it's basically a DC 16.
Okay, so I'll do administer a normal medicine first.
Okay.
And then if I can sort of stabilize him, I'm going to try and just.
Yeah, so the ministry, so it'll be one action to run over to him. Oh my god. That one.
Yeah, I should definitely re-roll that.
Your point, you got it. There you go. Okay, so Basil, you are stabilized. Fantastic.
So
All right.
So how many actions is that? 2?
Two, yeah, 2 to administer first aid.
So could I then try and do something risky to basically bump
No,
start
because
him back
you've
up?
one of your first action would have been to move over, right? Because you
Move
were at the
over.
door. So your first action is to run over, and the next 2 actions were to
2 actions, sorry.
yeah, to
Okay.
administer first aid, so you stabilize. All right, then it is this
Can I
thing.
send Igor in?
Remember,
Igor in.
you can spend 1 action to give Igor 2.
I got to use my actions, yeah,
Yep.
sorry.
Yeah, but you definitely can do that next round, absolutely.
Yep.
Or you can spend 2 actions to give Igor 3.
3 goes, yeah.
So like you see, you want him to go in and All right, so then, now first up, before this happens though, Father Tilcott, he brings up his hands, and he spends his entire round casting this. Basil, would you kind of give us a 1d8 roll, 1d8 plus 8 roll, please?
Okay. 1d8 plus.
I need to make a
8.
save here. Made my save.
I need to make a save too. Yeah.
14.
Nice. Oh shit, you do. That's right. Yeah. So Hannibal, go ahead and give us a basic fortitude save. Yeah.
Yep. 12.
Spend a hero point.
Yeah, 14 damage going to be a lot.
Yeah.
So I will spend a hero point.
Okay. There you go. There you go. All right. So you take 7 points of damage, as does the vampire. Basil, you recover 14 hit points.
I'm as good as new.
And fortunately, this thing is vulnerable to radiant damage, so it actually takes. Let's see here, minus 12. His wave of power flashes out, burns you a bit, Hannibal, and then burns this thing.
I don't think I'm vulnerable. I just take damage.
No, you just take damage, not vulnerable.
Okay.
Yeah. So then it is this thing's turn. Now I'm going to check on. Sorry. Just for my own edification, I know that in previous editions, fast healing did not trigger if they took damage from something to which they are vulnerable, like trolls taking fire damage or acid damage. I wonder if that is the same.
Yeah, I wonder with the silver bullets too. I guess.
Yeah.
If they're But they're not vulnerable, they're just affected.
Yeah, it just means that you get through their damage resistance.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Clumpier. For those listening at home, forgive me for looking this up. Just one of those. I look it up now, and I don't have to look it up again. Weaknesses. All right. Does not say. I think I'm going to say that that's the case for now, though, with this guy. So then he does not get his fast healing. Hannibal. He once again spins to you, and you can feel the weight of his will on you, and he just says, "Join me." Go ahead and give us a will save. Come on, Hannibal. Oh! Hannibal, unless you're spending that last hero point... Oh, you're muted, Carl.
I spent the hero point to...
Oh, shit. I need you to attack Father Tilcott next round, please.
Okay.
Okay. And then as his last action, he moves away. He moves back towards the stairs and away from Father Tilcott. Basil, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think we have to destroy this vampire, so I just try to revise my strategy again.
Okay.
Maybe this time it works better. Yes,
18. Okay. You want to cash that in immediately?
Yes.
Okay. So then, you go ahead and roll. What are you using? Your coat pistol?
Yes.
Go ahead and roll.
I'm rolling damage.
Yeah, please do.
And then I will get a 1d6 precision or this.
Go ahead, roll 1d6.
Striking.
Yep.
Damage as well. So this is another
7.
4.
Nicely
so
done.
Good.
This disgusting mist of blackened blood sprays out of him as he staggers back. Basil, by my count, that is one action to do draw your pistol, one action to make the attack. You have still one more action. What would you like to do?
I don't know. I'm just trying to maybe get Hannibal out with shouting at him. I don't know. So maybe try to get him out of this kind of mind control.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see here. Ow. And
Slap him, snap out of it.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so what I'll do then is, because of your background together and whatnot, and you're spending an action, Hannibal, you'll get a +2 to your next will save, which you'll be getting at the end of your round.
End of the round?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then it is Hannibal's turn. So Hannibal, you turn. What do you do?
And I take a shot at Father Tilcott.
Oof. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Two damage.
2 damage. Ugh! He's hit. You still have 2 more actions. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna stride towards him and then strike at him.
Go ahead.
So that I can reload.
Yep. So that is a miss. He kind of gets back.
I still reload though, right?
Ducard, what are you doing? Now you get a chance to make your... Yes, and you definitely get a reload, and you're bringing that pistol up towards the father once again. You get your second will save. You'll have +2 on this.
Okay. All right. So I don't know if we can add modifiers.
I'll reduce the...
Oh.
You're free! Nice.
Okay.
That's a 24.
Oof. Okay.
You know what? That actually might be a critical because of his level. So, what is a critical? What's it cost you? Nothing. You're completely free. Oh, you know what it is? Critical. You're not stunned.
Okay.
So you shake your head free, and you see the injured father. His the holy symbol has lowered. Mm-hmm. Dr. Orsprang, what are you doing?
So did you say the vampire's gone further away?
Yeah, it's about 1 stride away, so it'll be 1 action to get to where he is.
Okay.
Either you or Igor can reach him in, or Igor can reach him in 1 round.
Yeah, so I'm going to send Igor after him.
Okay. Now you can choose to spend 1 action to give him 2, or 2 actions to give him 3. What would you like?
I'll give him 3 actions.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm gonna obviously chase after him for 1 action.
So Igor turns, stomps over. Then go ahead. You have the primary attack on Igor.
I don't know if it's set up on the sheet.
It should be, yeah. If you open up, not on your sheet, but on Igor's sheet.
Oh, that's why I'm doing.
There you go.
Wrong. Yeah.
And it's percussive sedation or scalpel. Which one would you prefer? One is slashing damage, one is bludgeoning damage. The percussive sedation does more damage.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay. Go ahead and click on the first attack for that. Solid hit. Now, this thing, unfortunately, was not coated in silver. So it hits, but you see some of his teeth come out. You have a second action. If you'd like to make another attack, just click on the number 2.
Yep. So that's a -4.
Oh, that actually already includes it.
Yep.
If you click on the -2, yeah. So it swings at him. Unfortunately, that one is not fast enough to connect with him. Now, Dr. Ursprung, you still have 1 action.
So I'm gonna go over to. Can I tell that Hannibal's kicked out of this?
Yeah, he's doing this sort of like movie TV thing of like shaking himself free.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna go to the father's aid, and I'm just gonna basically, chase the creature down. I will try and protect you, and I'm just going to sort of bodyguard him as much as possible.
Sure,
basically.
yeah. Okay. So the way that you ready an action in this game is, I think it's you spend 2 actions to take 1 as a reaction. So you don't have enough actions to
Not this go.
Yeah,
Yep.
just so you know how the whatever calls the action economy works. All right, so but you got yourself positioned now, and you're ready to. He has to get through you to get to the
or Hannibal.
father.
Anyone that comes at him, I'm just going to intercept.
Then it is the father's turn, and he turns to you, Hannibal, and looks down, and he grabs your hand that has the pistol in it, and he says, the heavenly host guides you. And there is a flash. Your pistol is now magical.
Okay.
Which means +1 to hit, and it does 2 dice of damage. So if you adjust it on your character sheet to have 2D, I think it's, what does it do, D6 or D8?
It does a D10, man. A D6.
No,
It does a D6.
D6. So click on the cog and add 2 D6 in that until the spell is over. That's how much damage you will do. Now it is this thing's turn. This thing is not pleased with, or I keep saying this thing, Major Fitzhume. Major Fitzhume is not pleased with Igor. He did not take radiant damage last turn. Beginning to stitch himself back together. He slashes out at Igor. That is a hit, but not a crit. He smashes. Igor takes 9 points of damage. He will then follow it up with a second attack. And that one is going to be +10. Hits, not a crit. He takes... that is 13 points of damage.
No, he can't take that.
He smashes Igor down, and he says, "Fools!" And his last action will be, I think, to stride in on Dr. Ursprung. He's walked right up to you. Basil, what do you got?
Yeah, so I will just, so I think he is past me, and maybe I spot a weakness from behind, so I will devise a stratagem again.
Okay.
And immediately use a hero point because this was really crap.
Where's that nat 20? Come on. 15 is pretty
15.
good.
15 is okay, I suppose.
22 would be...
So, and this will be then 22, yeah.
Yep, that's a hit. Go ahead, roll damage.
So this is 5. I just rolled again. It's a d6, so it's 11 in total.
11 in total. So you see his side. It blows out like part of his neck and the back of his head. It is not a happy. So then you got. Did you reload last round, or are you reloading this round?
I reloaded last round.
Oh no, for Basil.
No, Basil.
No, I have to reload, so I have only one action left.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I will point Hannibal to. Now you can see this opening there, and he gets a +1.
Okay, nice. Hannibal, you're up. 3 actions.
Hannibal. Yes, I can shoot. Yeah, in melee.
You can, unless this thing has attacks of opportunity.
Well, well then don't I have that?
Which it doesn't.
Okay. All right. Well, doesn't matter. Okay. So I'm going to shoot at it.
Okay. Here we go. That is a miss.
Dang. Okay. And then I'm going to strike.
Okay.
And then so is it strike? Is a reload a free action then?
Yes, reload's a free action when you strike.
So I can strike and then shoot again.
Yes, you can.
But on the third one, I guess it's worth it.
So,
right, so the
second attack from your attack number 2 from your
miss,
but you're reloaded, and then you bring that pistol up.
Yeah.
Go ahead for your third. Come on, 20. Again. All right. Then it is. So you're just in a violent melee with him too, right?
Shooting,
fires. He ducks underneath it. You swing at him. He deeks back.
Include that 16? Include the +1, right? Still miss.
Still would be a miss. Unfortunately, he's very, very quick. Dr. Ursprung. He's broken Igor!
Oh no, he was just about to do something important, but not anymore.
My
and he's
creation!
moved away. He's moved away as well, isn't he?
He's in the melee with us.
He's in melee with you. You don't need to do anything if you want to attack.
Yeah, Basil.
Oh no, I just meant he'd moved away from Igor. I was thinking he might have a remote detonator or something.
Oh, yeah.
Set him off. So I won't be able to do that. So I think I'll just join the melee in a frenzy now.
Well, what you could do is if you do want to trigger Igor's detonation, I think you still can do that. It's just that he's not, in
close
the
enough, is he?
thing. Yeah. But let's see here. Because I think it's just an athletics check against his athletics to do a bull rush to push him back 5 feet.
Oh, would that be to make him close enough?
I think that'd be enough. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let me double check here. I think that's how that works.
I think it's.
Let's see here. Athletics.
He's not very good athletics, but.
Yep. Against the fortitude DC. So if that's what you want to try, and just push him back and then detonate Igor, you go ahead and just give us an athletics.
Fun.
Yeah. I mean, do you think he would have? Well, I think he would have, but would you think he'd have a remote sort of button where he could basically?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to try that then because he's just in a fury, obviously, and he's just going to rush towards him and shove him as hard as he can. This sounds
like it's the first time we've seen him not be civilized, too, right?
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. He's not happy. I'm not sure it's going to be very successful, but that's a good roll.
That's not bad.
And that is actually good enough. So you hammer him. He staggers back. And then go ahead and click on your detonation thing. I can't remember if I added in the damage.
I think it's in the feats.
It's in the feats,
I don't think the damage is there. What's it do?
There it is. 4. So it's a basic reflex save. So reflex save against your DC be 17.
I can't re-roll that, can I? Damage.
The damage, no.
No.
But he is caught in it, and it's automatic damage on him.
And I shout out, "For Igor!"
Nice. Then it is, let's see here, Father Tilcot's turn. Oh, if only he'd saved cause wounds for you. I think what he does is he casts Forbidding Ward on Ducard, because you're closest there. So you're going to have +1 to your AC, Ducard, against the attack. Then it's this thing's turn. It's not happy with Dr. Earthsprung, so one action is to surge forward. A second action to try and attack you. What's your AC there, Dr. Earthsprung?
It is 17.
17, okay.
Oh, 16, sorry.
16, okay.
sorry.
So that is a hit, not a crit. That is 9 points of damage from the first one, and he's grabbed a hold of you.
Okay.
And woof, he's going to try and drink your blood.
Good luck there.
So what is your fortitude bonus?
Fortitude. I'm not very good with a sheet.
Right in the middle on the first page of the sheet, underneath armor.
Oh, E7?
7. Okay, 7. So I need a 17 to get you, and that is +9, just enough. So he sinks in. Oh, let me see here. Yeah, sinks his teeth in and begins draining. So you lose 5 hit points, and he gains 5 hit points. And you're staggering back. Basil, what are you doing?
Yeah, okay, so I will just do this again. I mean, it's very successful if
When it works.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean it works, but
Yeah.
18 is enough, I suppose. 25 so
Yep.
in total, so I will just
Go ahead and roll damage.
do the damage.
5,
So this
nice.
is 5 and 4, so 9 in total.
You see more of that ichor sprays out of him, and you can hear he releases Adam briefly and says, "You can't defeat me." You still have 2 more actions, unless one of them is spent on reloading. Basil.
So actually, I would like to demoralize him. So
Okay.
to intimidate him. And if I understand correctly, I can do intimidation with diplomacy or intimidation.
Because of
I have
your,
this strange feat.
because
Yeah. I don't know. I would say you're already dead and you will become destroyed.
go
Very
ahead.
much.
So it's against his will. DC's gonna be 21.
Oh, well, it might happen.
So I got 20s on the dice.
Ah!
That's +1 because of a target of your investigation.
Yes.
So it's just enough. That's 4 times that it's been critical. So he stops and looks down at this tiny little rat man, and his nerve breaks. So, Hannibal, what are you doing?
What does demoralize do?
Demoralize
He gets
means-
-1 on his
Oh,
rolls.
okay.
Yeah, he's frightened
All
one.
right, so Hannibal has to reload as one
Yep.
action, and then he's going to shoot and
Okay.
try to close with this guy.
It's still glowing with that radiant energy as
Yeah,
well.
come on. Hit, damn it.
Yeah, solid hit. Now, did that
Get the
roll
damage.
both of them?
Yeah, that did. It rolled both. This is bad damage.
And guys, look closely at the bar. Four hit points left.
Oh, oh wow.
What does it look like as you take him down?
I just kind of aim and I say, like I said, retired. And shoot him.
There's a
Inside
spray of radiant energy as his head is kind of
Oh, it's
blown
radiant
out.
damage. I guess it's radiant damage. Plus, I don't know.
Yep. It's magic, so it's enough. Boom. His body hits the floor, and while the back of his head is a ruin, his face transforms back to normal, and you would almost think that he is at peace.
Father, I guess we should bless this former
So I think, guys,
monster.
with that, we will transition once again. We can see that it is the eve of Yule. And let me bring us back here to the streets outside of Shadow Illuminations. Unsurprisingly, the time... Let me switch our music back again, too. we go. In the days since the defeat of the final resting of Major Fitzhume, you guys found a cache of the vampire serum within Yarley Tower. Did you turn that over to the authorities, or did you dispose of it yourself, or what do you think?
I would destroy it, but I don't know what the others would want to do.
No, I'm keen to destroy it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with. That's fine.
I'd probably keep one, just for testing and investigation, and
love it.
Just because he's too inquisitive.
So we see, like, at one point in this wrap up, we see like Basil would be like, "You destroyed it all, yes?" And Dr. Osman's like, "Of course." And as he's leaving, we see him pull out a single vial of this brownish red liquid. The church has honored what their promise was, and you guys were each, in addition to the 150 gold crowns that you were promised, you were paid an additional stipend of 25 to keep things silent. Obviously, Ms. Carrington is not pleased with having to publish a redacted version of a story.
I mean, she could always blame it on the Ghoulfather, because I would presume that Clovis Potter is now no more, right?
You actually never found his body.
Oh, interesting. And the kids, the children were melted into the streets?
Likewise, disappeared. What happened to the... I mean... Again, you keep thinking to yourself, like, what happens when you introduce vampiric blood to someone with the Dampier's sickness already? Who knows?
I know. Hannibal's so keen to try that, but everyone's watching.
Let's see here, what else? There is a version of the story that is published. Ms. Carrington was obviously keen to publish the full truth. Her editor, however, seems to have been persuaded by others. And if you follow up with Dr. Ravencroft, he has nothing as of yet to report or progress on the ceasing of production. But as you guys are relaxing in the office, Igor is in the process of being reconstructed. It does seem, at least for the season of Yule, that the city of Paridar is safe from a vampiric threat. Guys, congratulations on reaching level 2.
Yes.
So, with that, we will. Is there anything you guys wish to add to our wrap up?
Yeah, I don't know. I just, like I said, everyone's watching. So Hannibal, I mean, he probably thinks about, and maybe he'll tell Basil, because I was tempted to drink that thing's blood when it died. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is not good for your character.
Well, think how much more powerful I could be for the greater good.
Yeah.
But
that may happen one day. I've kept that vial in. All I can imagine is the doctor just hunched over a pretty tatty table in a pretty tatty back room, little spotlight, just tinkering away, just soldering and just sort of cursing for hours on end, spending his whole Christmas or his sort of holiday time just cursing and just slowly putting Igor back together.
Nice. And Basil.
Yeah, I would like to do two things, actually. Mm-hmm. So I would send a couple of I don't know, some sweets in a nice box to the secretary of the captain.
Yeah, Mrs. Warrington.
Mrs. Warrington, yeah, but not sign with my name, but rather say that was a gift from your special friend Hannibal Duchat. And
but
he seems lonely, I suppose. I mean, he has no family as far as I see, and so that's probably a good thing. And the other thing is, I think I should write a letter to the how was this, Annabelle Carrington,
Yes.
that she shouldn't despair. The truth will come out at one point in time, and we will work on that.
Nice. So
Who
with
did you
that,
send those to?
what's that?
You sent those to You sent the box of flowers or chocolates to Mrs. Carrington? Is that?
No, Mrs. Warrington.
Oh, I don't even know who that is.
Worthington.
So that was,
Mrs. Worthington was the old
Yeah,
secretary for Captain Withers.
okay.
Nice. So then with that, we will bring our session to a close. So the untimely undeath of Major Fitzhume has come to a close. Congratulations, guys, on successfully thwarting his whatever his plot was, and for saving the city. So for those listening at home, we will be back with another adventure in Paridar on New Year's Eve. It'll be New Year's Eve on European time, so it'll be in the afternoon, North American time. And then we'll be back with a conclusion of our first story, our first Yuletide story in Paridar with an expanded cast to play part 2 of the Harrow Haunts of Yule. What our next session is, but the first thing I will say is a huge thank you to Darren, Ingolf, and Carl for playing today. Not only for diving in and bringing these pre-generated characters to such incredible life, but for making such a fucking great session to run for me. So thank you so much for playing, guys. That was a shit ton of fun.
Thank you.
thank you.
And for those listening at home, as is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the game, the campaign, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, or you can find a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server. We have a channel dedicated to Pathfinder 2, and I'm happy to talk about the characters, the adventure, the setting, or anything like that that you have questions about over there or in the comment section down below. Otherwise, we hope that this holiday season finds you all healthy, safe, and weathering the current crisis as well as can be expected. We hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off of the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that beset the streets of Paridar. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.